What's up, everybody? What's up, dude? Epstein, we're coming for you. We're gonna dive deep into this shit. We're diving deep. What's up, everybody? Hopefully that shit was timed right. Yeah, so it's a disappointing day for a lot of MAGA supporters. A lot of the ones who were calling me panicking over the Iran situation. Well, now you're panicking, right? We're gonna dive deep, dude. I've been fucking about 3 hours just researching this shit, trying to catch up on the whole Epstein saga. And it is definitely looking a lot like a cover-up that the Trump administration is now taking part in. So let's hope everybody's doing good. What's up, everybody in the chat? How you guys doing? Hope you guys like the new intro. Thought we'd try something different. Have some fun with a new theme for the intro. Flying pink trip through space on a television. So, okay, yeah, let's start with this. Let's start with a little bit of background as to what these people were saying, that the Bonginos, the Pam Bondis, the Kash Patels, the Alina Habas, who I don't know who she is, but she works for the Trump campaign. Let's see what they were saying just back in February, right? And then we'll get up to date with what's come out, which all of you know about, but we'll dive into detail with it. Let me jump here. All right, so this is how the Trump administration sounded, but just back in February, not that long ago, 5 months ago.
It is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Piers, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Kash and Pam, there will be accountability. But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is...
Okay. Here's Pam Bondi. Not that, this was, not that long ago.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Now... This is more from Pam Bondi. She seems to be the worst one.
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later.
Okay, so, they seem to be sitting on a lot of stuff. Here's Dan Bongino. I think this
about
one, I don't know,
a
when
year
this
and a half
was.
after
This
that, I'm in a green room at Fox, and I'm not going to say who because they didn't give me permission to share it. But
was working for the administration.
To show a story, but I don't know who they are. It says, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset, meaning his plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. But this person, who's a very, very good reporter, I mean, aces, right? swore Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up, and they're the ones who have all this stuff. So the point is, to sum it up, how do you know some of these countries aren't going to some of these power players who aren't making decisions? Because, hey, you wouldn't want this video out there, right? How do you know?
100%.
Yeah, that's Dan Bongino before. And then we're going to get to after. Here's Kash Patel before.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, you know, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right?
Okay, so yeah, they sounded a lot like everybody else, right? But where are we at now? A new internal Trump DOJ FBI memo concluded there's no evidence Jeffrey Epstein had a client list, was murdered instead committing suicide, or blackmailed power figures, Axios claims. So yeah. Oh, it turned out he did kill himself. And yeah, every tape of him is just him. There's nobody else involved. It was just him. Is that end of story? Case is over. There's no list. There's nothing. And he killed himself. Okay. And the sad part is, like, there's really no evidence to back up any of the things they're saying. So it'd be different if they, like, released all this evidence and were like, look at all this evidence. We have nothing against anybody else. But like, if they had backed it up with actual shit rather than just like, take my word for it, bro. Trust me, bro. I wouldn't lie to you.
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to. And
which you won't release any of it. Why don't you release some of it? I mean, okay, they use the same excuse every time. We're protecting the victims. Okay, we'll black out the names, black out any identifying information. But instead what they do is they black out the whole fucking page and go, oh, we're protecting the victim. You don't have to black out the whole page. Just black out the name. It should be a little couple blacks here, couple black there. That's it. So it's just... You cannot blame anybody for thinking this is a cover-up. And now just the Trump administration is just going along with the cover-up.
I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history.
No one cares about that right now. That's great. That's great. What about Epstein? So you're telling me they trafficked to nobody? Well, I mean, we know Prince Andrew had some shit going on. We know what the victims said. We're going to go over it. There's a ton of evidence, dude. We're going to go over all the shit. So right now we're just catching up, and then we're going to deep dive. I did a bunch of research. All the evidence that points to Epstein being a government agent, to the fact that he was black, or not the fact, but allegedly blackmailing people. That's, from all angles you look at it, you have to look at it, and you can't come away going, oh, he wasn't blackmailing people. It really seems like he was blackmailing people. Anyway, let's get back to her.
Their
Caroline, leave
emphasis
it.
on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. That they promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Well, they're going to need to release evidence. They're going to have to basically either get some like really trusted journalists to go in there and get access to all the evidence. Because we don't trust you. We don't trust the government telling us, oh, trust me, bro. Trust me. It was, he killed himself. And then they give us a video. I don't know what the video is supposed to prove. There's like an hour cut out of the video. The video proves fucking nothing. That's all they gave us, a stupid video. Here, I think I got it right. Where is the video? Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, here's the stupid video. Maybe there's more footage that I haven't seen yet, but this is the longest one I've seen. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. I don't know which cell is Jeffrey Epstein's. I don't know. Is it this one? Is it that one? By the way, it doesn't match the cell door from the original FBI photos. It's a totally different cell door. So what are we fucking looking at here? Even Grok confirmed this. So I don't know. Maybe this is a trickery. You know, as information comes in, it can be hard to decipher what's real, what's not. But from everything I've seen, this appears to be the legitimate photo that the FBI provided of Epstein's cell door. They're not the same. Anybody can look at them and say these are not the same. I don't know. Now let's get back to this this video here. Let's see what happens. Now I'm going to full screen it. There's no sound, of course. It's very important to pay attention to the timestamps. You know, because if you give me a video like this and you're saying that he killed himself between when the video started and when the video ended, and it shows no one going in, well, why is there cuts? You're cutting the fucking. At that point, this is bullshit. At that point, I can't trust this video. If it was like, hey, he died between 7 and 8. And here's the footage between 7 to 8 or whatever that shows nobody went in. Maybe that'd be a little more convincing, but it's like, well, maybe they went even earlier than 7. When was the last time he was checked alive versus when he was found dead? We need that video uncut for like actual people to look at. Because the thing is, the government can come and tell us it's like this and no one's going to believe it. You got to give access to like some reporters or whatever. Like just anybody that can go in and confirm, yeah, I watched all 8 hours. And this is what was on it, you know? At least. If not, release the whole video. I mean, which victims are you protecting by hiding this video? But then again, remember when it first came out, they said that, hey, the camera stopped working. But then this camera's working. Or maybe that's why the footage cuts in and out, is because that's when the camera stopped working. I don't know. Maybe Pastel, Bongino, maybe you could provide some fucking details as to what's going on here. Some background, some context so people can understand. If there is, I've missed it, which is very easy to do because there's so much fucking information about this shit right now. So yeah, there's already one cut. There's another cut. So this lady goes into this. Is this Epstein's cell? Is this Epstein's cell? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Any of you know in the chat? Maybe you could fucking illuminate us here. Yeah, there's a lot of cuts. I think there's a cut that is like a whole fucking hour. I don't know if they're going in, if they know, if they're checking on Epstein. Like, she's going in with a trash can. It's just like, okay, time to collect trash. And then she just gets trash from the inmates. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Okay, she goes in, closes the door. I don't even know what room this is. This guy shows up, another jump cut. Now it's 12, now it's midnight. Maybe they're just showing everybody that's been near his cell or into his cell. Maybe this is when he was alive, possibly. I don't know, dude. There's another, 5 hours missing there. Goes from 7 to midnight. What time? I need to figure that out. What time was Epstein found dead? He was found dead at 6:30 a.m. Okay, so this is 6 hours before he was found dead. So I guess this is everybody that came to his cell. I'm having to assume this is his fucking cell. There's no sound on this, by the way. It's not me. It's just no sound. Okay, so he goes in at midnight. I'm guessing at this point, Jeffrey was still alive. Looking up how long he had been dead when they found him. Dead for at least 2 hours. Okay, so they found him at 6:30. So that means he was dead at 4:30. Around there. Sometime around 4:30 is when he most likely died. And it's midnight right now. Okay, this is weird. The guy comes out dressed different. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck am I looking at, dude? I don't even know what is happening here. I don't know, man. Is that a staff room where they go in and change and clock in and out or something? And maybe that's his jail cell? I'm guessing this is his jail cell and this is just a fucking room for staff? I don't fucking know. Yeah, another jump cut. Now it jumps to 6:35. It jumped from, okay, midnight, this guy leaves. Then it jumps to 5:35. Then it jumps to 6:35. So at 5:35 a.m., he should be dead by around an hour at this point. So, but this proves nothing. Again, this proves nothing. There's more jump cuts. There's an hour jump cut to 6:30. He was found dead at 6:30. So, but then no one's going to the room. Is this even his fucking jail cell, dude? What is this, dude? I don't know. I don't know what this video is. It wouldn't surprise me if it turns out that this video has nothing to fucking do with Epstein. Because again, this is Epstein's cell from when it happened. I think even somebody asked Grok. Let me find this here. Yeah, so this is the original photo of his cell. So Grok says, yes, visual comparisons confirm the FBI video shows a different cell labeled 46 with an office-like layout than the DOJ photos of Epstein's actual cell. Gray tiled door, no label. This echoes 2020 reports of footage from the wrong tier. Official sources claim it's correct, but discrepancies persist. Okay. That's that's gonna make people stop asking questions there. Good job. Good job. So yeah, this video doesn't, what is this video? It gives us nothing, dude. 6:39. Okay, so he's dead 2 hours already. And they said that, according to Grok, he was found at 6:30 a.m. And he died sometime between 4:30 and 6:30 a.m. So yeah, if they found him at 6:30, at 6:30 there should have been somebody here, but maybe this is after. This is 5:30, and then it jumps to fucking 5:30 to 6:30, and no one's there. This again, this is give us real evidence. Like, tell us how you came to that conclusion, dude. I guess the thousands of videos was all just Epstein. It was all Epstein with masseuses, right? I guess it's possible. In some crazy fucking world, you know, some dude wants to record himself doing weird shit. Weird things have happened, but it doesn't really pass the sniff test, you know? Where are we at? Where do we leave off? So yeah, somebody, former CIA officer saying the deep state probably destroyed the Epstein files. So there are some trying to cover for Trump. And they're like, oh, well, everything was probably destroyed before they got in. Okay, that's possible. Oh, actually, he has all the information. He's just using it to blackmail the deep state. That's the other cope. Okay. But let's hear what this guy's got to say.
I'm not blaming the FBI director. Kash Patel or the deputy director, Dan Bongino. I think that that layer beneath them, that's part of what we like to call the deep state, has taken this bull by the horns, and they've probably destroyed information. Look at what the CIA did in 1975 after Congress ordered that it release all of its files related to an operation called MK Ultra. The director of the CIA went back to headquarters and ordered everything to be destroyed. And in the end, only about 20% of the documents survived. We're still learning about the FBI's operations against Martin Luther King 55 years after the fact. So now we're supposed to believe that everybody's telling the truth, that there were no files, there were no dossiers. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it because I know how these people operate.
Yeah, they're not going to just come out and be like, yeah, guys, we were running a fucking sexual blackmail operation so we could get... And everybody says it was Israel running it. Well, yeah, seems to be that the evidence that's out there points to like him being a Mossad operative, but I mean, who knows if it was just Mossad or what the fuck? Like, who knows the details on that shit? But it does seem like he was working for some government in some fucking capacity, because the way they're covering for him, it's the only reason it would make sense. The other one is, oh, well, there's just too many high-profile people that they don't want, the Bill Clintons, all them. Well, you think Trump would release that if that was the case? The other cope is, well, it's Trump's in there. Yeah, oh, fuck, who knows, man? I think he was working for the government, and that's why they're covering it up. He was an intelligence asset. I think that's the most likely explanation here. Yeah, we'll get into some of these other reactions from other people, but let's jump into some of the evidence here, man. Just in case you guys forgot some of this, I wanted to go over this so we can, what is the evidence of Epstein blackmailing people? All right, well, there was his mansion in 2019 that got raided. They found compact discs in a safe with handwritten labels such as Young, name plus name, right? So think of it like a compact disc. It says Young, somebody's name, assuming a lady, plus, and then somebody else's name. That sure seems like blackmail material. But, yeah, no one's really knows what happened to that shit. These labels suggested compromising material involving individuals, potentially minors, which could be used for blackmail. The Department of Justice noted these findings, though the exact content of the discs has not been publicly detailed. The presence of labeled CDs suggests Epstein may have recorded or stored compromising materials consistent with the blackmail operation. All right, Epstein's own statements. In 2018, Epstein reportedly told a New York Times reporter off the record that he had dirt on powerful people, including details about their sexual proclivities and drug use. This was interpreted as an implication that he possessed blackmail material. Yeah, so basically he came out and said he's got dirt on powerful people. It's the reason that people are like, okay, where's the list? Who was he blackmailing? Who were the fucking weirdos that he was luring into his fucking island to have sex with underage women so that they can blackmail, have control? It's like the oldest trick in the book for powerful people. This is what they do. This is how they get leverage on each other. And then you got, Virginia Giuffre. You guys, let's see, I think I had a picture of Giuffre somewhere. Where did I put it? Where's Giuffre? Did I lose a picture of Giuffre? So yeah, there's the picture of Giuffre with Prince Andrew. There's evidence right there. She's a victim. She claims that she and other women were being used to blackmail powerful individuals. And there's evidence that she was sleeping with powerful individuals. So, yeah, but whatever. We're going to cover it up. Let me see here. Where'd I leave off? Okay, so Virginia Giuffre, a key Epstein victim, which, by the way, she died a very strange death. We'll get into that, too. Alleged in court documents that she was directed by Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted of trafficking, but apparently she was trafficking only to Epstein and to herself. Was directed by Ghislaine Maxwell to engage in sexual activities with prominent figures, including Prince Andrew. Everybody's seen the photo. I'll try to find it again, dude. I swore I had it saved, but I guess I accidentally closed it. But yeah, there's a photo of her with Prince Andrew, where she's wearing the white shirt. She's 15 or 16 at the time. I don't know, somewhere between 15 and 17. I don't remember the exact. I think 17 probably. But yeah, I guess it was just a one-off that time, huh? That time was just a one-off. She testified that Epstein and Maxwell's operations centered on sex, implying a system designed to entrap influential individuals. Now, other victims like Shantae Davis and others corroborated claims that Epstein's properties were wired for video surveillance. So everything was recorded. On every one of his properties, everything 24/7 was being recorded. But yeah, all they got is a bunch of tapes of Epstein doing a bunch of terrible things that they won't release because they have to protect the victims. But trust us, it was only Epstein. That's it, just Epstein. So Epstein also allegedly tried to blackmail Bill Gates in 2017, according to a 2023 Wall Street Journal report, over an extramarital affair with a Russian bridge player, Mila Antonova. Epstein had paid for Antonova's coding school tuition and later emailed Gates, requesting reimbursements in a tone that implied he could expose the affair. Gates' spokesperson denied any financial dealings with Epstein and no payment was made. Well, how do you know a payment wasn't made? They're just telling you a payment wasn't made. The payment could have not been money. The payment could have been a million different things. Could have been whatever the fuck he wanted Gates to do. Let me see. Yeah, so this is one of the few documented cases of an alleged blackmail attempt by Epstein. Patrick Kessler's claims of sex tapes. A man named Patrick Kessler approached prominent lawyers claiming to... this one's not even worth going over because who knows if this fucking person's just making shit up. This is the problem, you know? There's too many people making shit up. It's hard to not fall for some bullshit. Evidence, DOJ and FBI findings. A 2025 Department of Justice and FBI memo following an exhaustive review of Epstein's files explicitly stated there was no incriminating client list and no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. This, however, contradicts earlier claims by Attorney General Pam Bondi, who in February of 2025 suggested she had a client list on her desk for review. The memo also noted that no evidence was found to support investigations against uncharged third parties. So nobody else was involved. It was only Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein. That's it. Nothing to see here, guys. Just go home. Hey, ain't the border doing good? Hey, look, we're doing a good job with the border, aren't we? Okay. All right. Nothing to see here. Let's see what else we got. Epstein's deposition behavior. Epstein invoked his Fifth Amendment right over 500 times. Yeah, I mean, that's what... I don't think you can use that to say for sure. Here's the evidence of Epstein as a government actor. Alexander Acosta's statements. Alexander Acosta, the former U.S. attorney in Florida, who negotiated Epstein's 2008 plea deal. Remember, he got a sweet deal. They just basically, they went really, really light on him. Reportedly stated that he was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and that the issue was above his pay grade. Former U.S. attorney in Florida, Alexander Acosta. I'm sure the former U.S. attorney in Florida is just making shit up, right? I'm sure. This claim, reported by multiple sources, suggests Epstein may have had ties to an intelligence agency, which could explain the leniency of his 2008 plea deal. Acosta's statements is one of the strongest pieces of evidence suggesting Epstein's involvement with intelligence, though it lacks specificity. That's a hard one, especially with a Zen in your mouth, about which agency, e.g., U.S., Israel, or other, and remains unverified by official records. I know most people lean towards Israel. I don't know. I would say he's probably working for both. Another one. Ari Ben Menashe, former Israeli intelligence operative, claimed in a 2020 book, Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales, that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were Israeli spies running a honey trap operation to blackmail prominent figures for Mossad. He alleged that Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, a known Mossad asset, introduced Epstein to the agency. Ben Menashe claimed Epstein's operation provided young girls to politicians for sex, with the incidents recorded to extract information for Israel. Of course, Israel says that, there's no record of him ever being a Mossad agent, but, he was a former Israeli intelligence operative. But again, people can just write books and make shit up, right? So, no definitive evidence links Epstein to Mossad operations. Let's see what's okay. Ben Menashe's claims are significant but lack corroboration from primary sources. His credibility is debated as Israel has denied his Mossad affiliation. Of course, they're going to deny it. You know, what do you expect? But yeah, people make shit up. So that's another one where it's like, shit. You know, if I'm being an honest actor, I can't tell you heads or tails on that one. Did the guy make it up or is Israel lying? Yeah, maybe I could do a deep dive into that and see who the fuck that guy is and what the evidence is for him being a Mossad or intelligence asset for Israel or whatever the fuck he claims. Connections with intelligence figures. William Burns, the current CIA director, met Epstein 3 times in 2014, reportedly to discuss transitioning to the private sector. Okay, a CIA spokesperson stated that these meetings were professional and not indicative of an intelligence role. Okay, the current CIA director met Epstein 3 times in 2014. That's a little weird. I mean, he's the director of the fucking CIA. We're not talking about just like a random CIA person. And he met him 3 times. That's weird. I mean, yeah. The former Israeli prime minister was named in court documents as Epstein's associate, fueling speculation about an Israeli intelligence connection. Former Mossad operative Ari Ben-Menashe claimed Barak was aware of Epstein's activities, though Barak has not been charged with any wrongdoing. Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister. I forgot the name there. Robert Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, a British media mogul, is widely believed to have been a Mossad asset. Some sources, including Ben-Menashe, allege she introduced Epstein to Mossad. So I'm seeing a trend here where everything seems to be Ben-Menashe, this ex-Israeli intelligence guy. You kind of take a big risk when you just take things on face value. Like, I don't know that guy's reputation. I have no way of knowing if that guy's fucking just trying to grift and make some money by making some shit up and putting it in a book. I could be wrong. Maybe some of you in the chat are like, oh, you're wrong. You've read more about it than me, but on face value without doing more research. Implication: Epstein's connections to high-profile intelligence figures and Robert Maxwell suggest possible ties to intelligence networks, but no direct evidence confirms he was an operative. Okay. There's a lot, man. Now, Stephen Hoffenberg's claims. Evidence: Stephen Hoffenberg, a former a business associate of Epstein, claimed Epstein referred to his relationship with Prince Andrew as his Super Bowl trophy, suggesting he used high-profile connections for leverage and potentially for intelligence purposes. I mean, that's a big fish, right? You get a prince. I mean, how many favors can you get done? Like being able to blackmail somebody that's like in the royal family. You probably get a lot of favors done or, killed. Implication: Hoffenberg's statements support the idea that Epstein cultivated relationships for strategic purposes, but they do not directly confirm an intelligence role. So he also somebody just gave him a house. Like, no one can really explain where his money came from. His money just kind of appeared out of nowhere. Epstein's immense wealth, estimated at $636 million at the time of his death, has unclear origins, leading to speculation that it may have come from intelligence sources. His 2008 plea deal, which granted immunity to potential co-conspirators, is considered highly unusual and has been cited as evidence of protection by powerful entities, possibly intelligence agencies. So yeah. What do you expect, man? Trump got in, Bongino and Kash Patel got in, and now they're part of the cover-up. They're part of the team. It's sad, but I think it would take somebody very, very, very unique and independent to get into a position where you're running the FBI now and you're just going to release all this damning evidence about the organization that you run, or the CIA, et cetera, or your country, et cetera. I mean, we've done some terrible fucking things. There's no doubt about it. Mostly the deep state intelligence agencies, they've done a bunch of terrible shit. And they don't want us to know. Of course they don't want us to know. It's a matter of national fucking security, bro. So yeah, that's, there's more here. Let me see. Virginia Guffrey, it's got a weird name. She died like a weird death out of nowhere. We can go over that in a little bit, but let's see. Like, nobody's buying this shit, right? Here's Voidzilla. I think Voidzilla, Coffeezilla. This is his other channel, Voidzilla. And I think he does a good job, basically, doing what I just did. Maybe not as much detail over the evidence, but there's quite a few people that just, there's Alex. Alex ain't buying this shit. No one's really buying it. It's just dumb. Like, they're just gonna, oh yeah, I know what we said this whole time, but, well, we were wrong. He actually did kill himself, and yeah, there was nobody he trafficked to, it was just him and, Ghislaine. But then they give us no evidence. Just give us some fucking evidence. Give us something to go, this is why we came up with that decision. This is why we came to that decision. Let's see. Let's watch this Voidzilla one for a little bit. This is a good one.
Boy. Today we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. The big update, which is just that he had no client list and offed himself. That's according to Axios. In a big scoop, they apparently got a hold of this document from the US DOJ and FBI. Kind of a joint statement here. We're going to go through it. They say, as a part of a commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation have conducted an exhaustive review of the investigative holdings related to Jeffrey Epstein. Sort of a relook at the evidence, if you will. And they come to some very interesting findings. And it's interesting in that it's contrary to what a lot of what they've been saying all along. And that's what's kind of the problem here. For the last few months, we've been teased along with these statements about, we've got the client list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
We've got thousands of videos.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
And then, Kash Patel goes on Joe Rogan and says, hey, there ain't no videos. If I had a video of a guy on an island committing a felony, don't you think you know about it?
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
This is the most annoying one. It's trust me, bro. That's what it is. Like, bro, I'd never do that to you, bro. Me, fucking Kash Patel, the crazy looking fucking dude with the eyeballs that look like I'm a psychotic fucking madman. No, I'd never do this. Like, well, you are the government now, dude. You're running the FBI. So would the government do this? Yeah, they're doing it.
Already seems like a bit of a contradiction. Now, Joe Rogan even tries to give him the out, like, oh, maybe you don't have it. And he's like, no, we're giving you everything.
If you have access to it.
If I have it, period.
Right.
If I have it.
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
No, we're giving you everything we have.
So far.
Everything we have so far is
have you guys gone over all the...
What have they given? The 200-page document bullshit where the influencer showed up, that was all shit that it's already been public. It was nothing new. They've given nothing except trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. That's all they've given. If this is if what they're saying is true, and that he did off himself, and that he didn't there's nobody that they can prosecute that he trafficked to. There's nobody else. He didn't have a list of people that he was blackmailing. But there was nobody else involved with this activity. I don't know, man. Trust me, bro, just not enough for me, dude.
The video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
And so there already was a wedge with what we were sort of told we're going to get versus then they come out and say, hey, nothing to see here. And today is a little bit more of that. It's a little bit more of the finger wagging at the conspiracy theorists, which is ironic given that both Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, who have now come out saying there's nothing to see here, guys, were saying, oh, there's a lot to see here before they got in.
Who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide.
It's unbelievable.
And we'll get into that too. I mean, the thing is, it's so fucking hard to find videos. Like, I've seen all these videos of people debunking why it wasn't a suicide, how his neck, the strength, the amount of force used to break it. And then I search on YouTube and I can't find any of these fucking videos. It's so frustrating, dude. The YouTube algorithm fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. The search algorithm, all of it sucks.
The guy killed himself.
Now, maybe that's because they did a deep dive and they're just being honest with people.
Again, you want me to get... I've seen the whole file. he killed himself.
But I think you deserve criticism if you're going to engage in this type of conspiratorial thinking, and then when it's convenient for you, you expect the trust of the people. If you're the one saying like, hey, those guys can't be trusted, you become that guy and you go, well, guys, you can trust me, right? When I'm going to say the exact same thing everyone's been saying this whole time. That's why it's so stupid. I mean, you guys set up all the wrong expectations. You told us we're going to reveal the truth, and now they're saying there's nothing to see here, and shame on you for thinking there was. And once again, this is more self-contradiction, because in this statement, we actually find immediately first page, second paragraph, saying that there's a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be minors. My question is, there's no one else? In this statement, they admit that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. So you got 1,000 people, either some form of evidence that he harmed. Nobody else was involved. Epstein's around the most powerful people on the planet. 1,000 victims. No, nobody else. There's images and videos. Apparently, that's what they say. Nobody else is on camera, right? Because otherwise...
And they can't give any of the fucking evidence for any of... I understand, like, if there's, like, fucking videos where Epstein's, like, having sex with an underage woman or something, like, yeah, you can't release those videos publicly. But I don't know, in a situation like that, maybe you can have, like, 5 or 6 journalists go in and all fucking, you know, relay to the public what's on those videos, who's in those videos. Obviously protecting the innocents, you know, blacking them out. I don't know. Like, they just expect us to believe it because, oh, it's Trump. It's Trump. Trump wouldn't lie to us.
That would mean
Trump,
that
he never lied to nobody.
The FBI director went on Joe Rogan and told a lie, told a little fib.
If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
But he says he's going to get the evidence out. So how do you square this, right? There's 1,000... Was Epstein just filming himself the whole time for, like, did he put it in the evidence box? I mean, that's the ridiculous thing about this.
Well, I mean, people do film themselves committing crimes, especially of a sexual nature. So I don't think that's too out of the realm of possibility. But, yeah.
Why would you film
just playing devil's advocate
yourself committing these acts? That's where the whole blackmail angle came from. Was there's all these videos for what, right? And I'm sure those people, these powerful people.
That's not where the blackmail angle came from. The blackmail angle came from the fucking victims who said that he was blackmailing people.
Did not consent to being recorded. So what else was this being used for? It's just pretty amazing. This whole statement seems to absolve any third parties, saying that they really have nothing else that they can bring that would expose third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Saying
they're protecting. It's I don't know. My best guess, I would bet a lot of money, they're protecting the government. The government's just protecting itself. Because if they were to release everything that came out, it would be a huge fucking scandal. And you probably have people going like, oh yeah, you want to release the Epstein files? Or you want to let them know that the United States government and other governments were blackmailing very powerful people so we could get leverage on them. You want to let everybody know. You want to let that cat out of the bag. You want there to be riots in the streets. You want, turns out, who knows how many fucking high level government officials might have been blackmailed, might have made decisions on shit based on the blackmail. Who knows, man? But it's not unbelievable to think that the government would just not want to release that. They'd want to go, oh, yeah, it's better that the public don't know about this.
Later, this systemic review revealed no incriminating client list. Now, here's where I got to say, like, yeah, what? You didn't find the little notebook that had the, like, every guy that did something wrong on it? Yeah, obviously that's probably not going to exist, right? But if you have videos and somebody appears with a video doing something bad, it's not a client list, but that's a client, right?
So what they're telling us is that they looked over all 1,000 videos, however many there are, and there was nobody else in the video except Epstein and his victims. That's it.
So I just find it so hard.
I'm telling you, like, get 6 reporters, let them in to just examine the evidence, Let them fucking corroborate what you're saying, and then maybe people will believe it.
Hard to believe. I just don't believe. I'm going to be honest. I do not believe that you had
Are there even any trusted journalists anymore? Tucker Carlson, let him in.
videos, apparently enough to catalog over 1,000 victims, and not a single other person other than Epstein appeared on any of them, right? He's friends with all these famous people. He got rich, and nobody knows how he got rich. People suspect that it was some form of blackmail, but the FBI seems to basically say this is a conspiracy theory. They say perpetuating unfounded theories.
Didn't the dude just sign over like a mansion to him for nothing? There, here you go. Here's your mansion.
About Epstein serves neither of those ends of combating child exploitation and bringing justice to victims. You know, I actually agree with that. I do think we have to be careful not to jump to, conspiracy theories. The problem is when you release contradictory evidence, it makes people think that you're hiding stuff. Like that is not being helped in this release. I don't know if they're saying, oh, we're being so transparent here. Seems like the first big release was a nothing burger. Then they said they had, reviewing all these videos. Then they say if we have videos of people committing crimes, we tell you about those. And then they say we have thousands of videos, but we're not going to show you them because there's nothing to see. There's nobody on there important. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Quote, we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. In other words, there's nothing we found.
Somebody said that this was all a conspiracy to prove that Prince Andrew's not gay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that would be a definitive proof just because he slept with one chick. There's a lot of gay dudes who have slept with one chick.
That would be useful for a future investigation. That's what I find.
What else we got here? We got Alex Jones. Let's see what Alex Jones is saying.
Look, I need Trump to succeed. I don't turn, tell, and run, but I'm not going to sit here and be stupid. If they're able to stop the Trump agenda and the Democrats are about to get in 3.5 years, I'm leaving the country.
Alex is making play. Alex, don't do a fucking, was it Rosie O'Donnell? A Madonna? I'm leaving the country. Fuck, if Alex is leaving, I guess I'm going to have to leave too, dude. No, I mean, we're in Texas, man. Hold it down in Texas, bro. Move to a small town. Build your castle. And I don't know, hope that the NWO doesn't kick down your door one day.
All right, so I need Trump to succeed. At the same time, I can't go along with evil, and I just can't do it. So
we need to build a city in Texas. We just pick a little small town, a little area, and build a real small town. Call it like InfoWar City. Jonestown. We'll call it Jonestown. Oh, no, that wouldn't be good, would it? I don't think you can call anything Jonestown anymore. Alex Land or some shit, and yeah, we'll just we'll start our own little community out in the middle of nowhere, our own little city, make our own laws and shit, right? Let's do that. No cult shit though, just civics.
Kyle, in closing here, final comments, but I just want to say that if Trump didn't give these orders, which I've speculated, I believe he did, and that they made a deal behind the scenes or whatever, because they believe this information is too damaging to destroy the country or whatever. And I see that argument. I'm not endorsing it. If he hasn't done this while we've had Bondi and Patel and all them, really Cash, hyping this up for months and now putting out this ridiculous report that 180s was already on record, and it makes the Trump administration complicit in the CIA, Mossad, Epstein operation. If Trump doesn't come out and say this is wrong or reverse this, then he is complicit. And I'm just processing what I'm going to have to do. You got 3.5 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we were talking just before the break. It's the information industrial complex. That's the second thing that I think is the second most lethal. And sometimes it is the most lethal compared to the military industrial complex. That's the information brokers. That's going to be your big tech companies. People think that Palantir, you mentioned that earlier, is going to be the big danger. I mean, consider this. Like, most of the government is housed using Microsoft software. Almost all of it is done on Amazon web servers.
So it's Bezos.
We're talking
and
about
listeners go, you're covering Palantir. No, I'm not. If I'm sitting, there's a 1,000-pound gorilla and a 20-pound monkey. I'm going to tell you the gorilla.
The gorilla is significantly more scary. And the people that have all the information on you, the Googles, the Alphabets, the Metas, et cetera, like they've got so much, it's not even funny. The things that they are the wet dream of what the intel community wishes they could gather on the American people, for whatever it's worth. All the collections that are going on out there in the on the intel services.
Just like in Key Souza, it's a good thing we did, but it shows up. He goes and spends $100,000 in key cities in Pennsylvania and shows the Democrats with the safe houses, with the mules delivering the fake ballots.
And remember, he was lamb.
Okay, we're on a different subject here. We had a few of them from Alex. There's one where he's in his car, where he's pretty emotional. Yeah, let's watch this one.
Well, I woke up this morning.
Let's take a drive with Alex.
And turned my phone on, and there were hundreds of text messages saying, oh my God, the DOJ just put out a letter that I know you've all seen now, saying there is no Epstein client list, there never was any blackmail operation, Epstein killed himself, and the investigation's closed.
He unalived himself.
So everybody wants to know what I think. Well, I know what's going on. And so I'll tell you. Trump had two ways to go with all of this. He could prosecute all of these incredibly prominent people, household names, or they could use the information to blackmail the deep state. I've done deep research, have a lot of contacts, and know Trump's MO. And he's not into kids, he's not into being peed on, and Russian hotels, all that was lies. We now know from the CIA and Brennan and the very crew running the Epstein operation. But the reason...
Is he driving and filming himself? Alex, you gotta stop doing that, bro. Maybe I'm wrong.
You are...
He definitely looks like he's driving in, or maybe the guy in the passenger seat's filming him.
Seeing this deep sixth is because...
You better not be doing one of these, Alex, where you're like filming yourself as you're driving. Don't do that, Alex.
Because the CIA...
I will report you to the proper authorities, brother.
With the Mossad and MI6 was running Epstein, and it was an official U.S. government operation, multinational. And it was the family business going back to Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, and that's all on record. So if Trump was to actually prosecute this, it would bring down the CIA. And so that's why you've had Comey, who controlled the...
No, he's filming and driving. Alex, you can't do that. Alex, it doesn't matter if Trump just, became one with the deep state and joined the dark side. You can't film yourself as you drive, Alex, okay? Just wait till you get to your destination.
Files over at the FBI with the CIA, but on that end of the DOJ, having his daughter do all the main cover-ups, not just with the Epstein and Maxwell case, but obviously P. Diddy and the rest of it. So this is the swamp winning. The question is Trump's DOJ actually using this to control the deep state?
Yes, at least he's not drinking, you're right.
Or are they just so overwhelmed by it, they are tapping out? Because, let me explain logic here. And from all obvious inside sources, we're the ones that broke with the FBI whistleblowers, O'Boyle and others, Seraphin, all of this that was first unfolding 5 months ago when they were supposed to, have this 14 terabytes. They'd sent it out to the FBI field offices for investigation. And Pam Bondi went on Fox a bunch of times. So did some U.S. attorneys from New Jersey and said, oh yeah, we've seen it, hundreds of new victims and videos and all this horrible stuff, kids being raped. Hundreds of new victims, we're going to be releasing it. So you wouldn't say all that if you were planning to cover it up from the beginning. So something has changed along the way, and it all points towards this being used to blackmail the deep state. I'm not endorsing it.
Oh.
I think clearly this is what...
I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice if Trump is just like, oh, well, we got all this information. We know who's involved with Epstein and the whole fucking apparatus of the CIA and the FBI. They all got their fingerprints all over it. So we're going to use it to take them down behind the scenes. But we won't tell everybody. We're gonna tell nobody. We're just gonna use it as blackmail. We're gonna use the Epstein tactic of blackmailing. What? Let's cope, man. Let's cope. It really is. Sure, that would be nice. Would be nice, but that's some Q level shit to me. That's when you're getting to like Q level cope. You know, I get it. We don't want to. I mean, he's still doing a good job with the border, though, guys. He's doing such a great job with the border. He's getting so many illegals out of here, guys. Just ignore this. Just ignore this, all right? Just forget about Epstein. Just forget about it. The problem is our government is corrupt as fuck, and that's one of the things we wanted solved. And this just points to we're probably not going to solve any of this fucking corruption.
Musk learned about it a few months ago and looked like he aged, 10 years overnight. Looked completely freaked out, and then I think the conscience had to come out and say what he said. I mean, even people like Cat Turd, who is just the quintessential will not question anything.
John, you're good, bro. Take a break from reading the chat if everybody annoys you. Don't read the chat, John. The chat is just trying to get you riled up because to them it's funny, right? So if you don't get riled up, then you just got to ignore it. Take a break from it. Pay attention to the show. Watch me. Don't watch the chat. You're supposed to watch the show, not the chat, John. By the way, if you guys haven't hit the thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up. Where are we at? What do we get over 50 yet? Oh no, 48. I'm so sad. Guys. All right, good. We're over 50 now. That was a close one. I was about to have a meltdown because we were under 50. Let's go. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. If you want to support the channel, you can send a super chat or you can become a member. The description has the links to Patreon and to become a member, or you click join next to subscribe. That's another way to do it. Or like I said earlier, click the thumbs up. Thank you guys. Much love. Let's get back to the Alex Jones clip.
And the Trump administration is completely freaked out now. I mean, no one is buying this. Patrick McDavid's had really good breakdowns of it all. Jack Posobiec said, okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell is innocent because she was found guilty of sex trafficking. So how do you say there's no trafficking or blackmail or any of this? It's just absolute horseshit on its face, and it's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Trump is doing a lot of good, and obviously the deep state's trying to destroy me for supporting him. It's been hell, and a lot of good's happening. I'll say this. This is very, very painful and nauseating. I'm actually physically nauseated in the last 3 hours since I got up and just trying to collate this. And of course, I instantly knew what was happening when I saw the information. I've talked about the different scenarios here.
This is very sad.
Obviously, there's nothing the globalists wouldn't do to keep this from coming out. They've already tried to kill Trump repeatedly. Had they rolled over? I see a lot of signs that, Trump's pretty much in charge now. And
Did PBD have a great take?
All evidence points towards them using the information to control the deep state. So,
look, even PBD is capable of having the occasional good take. No matter, even Charles fucking Manson, Saddam Hussein. Everybody's capable of having a couple good takes. Okay.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. The Who song won't get fooled again. But I'm going to say this in closing. I'll be covering it all today at 11 a.m. Central when my show kicks off at Infowars.com/show and right here on X and on radio stations across the country. We are seeing 96% reduction in smuggling of humans across the board.
The border, guys. He's doing so good. look, he is. He's doing a great job with the border. Not so much with every fucking thing else, but at least we got that, right? At least we got that.
They have
Thank
raped
God.
a lot of people and found human traffickers. They have saved a lot of kids. It's in the federal filings, but they're little kids, so you don't see their names in the news. That's the way that works. These are juveniles. That's the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of missing kids, millions of kids total. And so I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but at the same time, the fact that this is a key, the fact that they didn't just
You just got to not be on a team, Alex. Okay? You just got to call it as you see it. Don't play a team. Don't be like, okay, well, I supported Trump, so now I have to fucking figure out a way to spin this. It's like, no, just call it as it is. That's what good journalism is. And something ain't right about this. Everybody can fucking see it. This is a cover-up. This is a cover-up. Everybody and their 99-year-old grandmother can see it.
Shut up about this, even though they were going to use it for blackmail, or it was too dangerous, seismically for the system to bring it out. And I'm not defending that. I'm saying that would be the thinking. You don't then have Kash Patel and Bongino like deer in the headlights, looking like they're hostages, saying, "Oh no, we've seen everything. There's nothing there. No, he killed himself," and put out this stupid video from outside the cell bay with cops dragging trash cans around, going, "Look."
Yeah, that's what we just watched. That video just makes him look even dumber. Like, this is what's supposed to back you up and make everybody stop asking questions? What? Are you guys doing any work at all? Did you even look at the fucking files? I mean, just hire like 10 people and go look over the files and give us a fucking 20-page report of everything in the files. Okay, just give us something.
This proves he killed himself. You don't do all that unless it's part of a deal with the system that you've got to go out and say that so that you're not complicit in the lie. And that's why they look like they're being tortured, because I think both men have had integrity, and I think you see them losing their souls on live TV. This is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I don't know how they got Trump and the DOJ to do this, because the public is not buying it. No one is buying it. So I never saw any evidence of Trump involved in any of the stuff that came out. It was all fake. The fake Jane Does, all the crap, E. Jean Carroll, the crazy leftist cat lady, all of it. So now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something.
I'm kind of numb to it, to be honest. Because I expected this. It's like never been... I think the only time I really didn't regret it was 2016, because I checked out right after I voted. I checked out till like, I don't know, 2018 or so. Like, I really wasn't that involved, because I was like, all right, Trump's in there. He's going to get 2 terms. And I'm not going to worry about it, which I'd like to get back to. But, yeah. I would like to get back to just not having to worry about any of this shit. But it's also fun to cover it if you can, not be too emotionally invested. And I think the key to covering this type of shit is to just really analytically approach each situation and just make sure you're not coming with your fucking pom-poms for one side or the other. One side may be better than the other, but that doesn't mean you have to be a fucking cheerleader. You still have to call it the way it is. And I'm not saying that Alex isn't doing that. Alex has done that. A lot of times, Alex is called out. I mean, after this one, we're gonna play, because this is giving me flashbacks of Alex Jones breaks up with Donald Trump. And so after this one, we're going to play that just for old time's sake.
I mean, I'm physically gonna puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. It's because
Oh, come on, Alex. I don't want to see you like this.
And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country, and they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this,
I feel you.
My guts out.
Don't cry, though. You got it. Man up.
The left, they're all complicit. They're openly promoting pedophilia. We know they're pure evil. And they'll think it's all funny. Oh, look, Alex is sad. MAGA's tearing itself apart.
No, this is breaking my heart, Alex.
Your globalist masters literally want you to eat bugs and live in a 5G, 200-square-foot coffin apartment. You look at the left. Look at them all posing with their Pfizer shots, looking like dead zombies. I mean, come on. You guys are sick.
Yeah, but you're right. But it's still immensely disappointing, as you're feeling right now, the disappointment, Alex, that to have this opportunity to get in there and hopefully fix some fucking things with our government, get rid of a lot of the corruption, clean up the bloat, all that shit is just out the window now. And that's what we're mourning. We're mourning the opportunity to have a real fucking change. And instead, we're getting just a little bit better. Oh, just a little bit better. Ain't it better? But if it wasn't, if it was the other side, the border would be wide open. It's like, okay, you're right. That's a big deal. Yeah. But what about, okay, the border, you did. What about the rest of it? What about the rest of the fucking... So that's what it is. That's what's the saddest part.
And so you shouldn't look at those of us that have a soul still and have integrity in pain over this and celebrate, you dumb pieces of fucking shit. You're going against your own self-preservation, serving this evil globalist system in BlackRock and the New World Order and Hakeem Jeffries and all the rest of it. So I'm just processing this right now. I don't know on what planet Trump is doing all this good stuff in the real world and still being demonized by the corporate media and constant lies like, oh, there was no weather alert for flash floods in Texas by the National Weather Service. There was the day before and over 500 times. It's just constant lies. I need to defend Trump. He's being lied about. And then this type of shit happens. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, so when Trump's being lied about and the media's making up stories to try to, do a partisan hack job on Trump, call out the truth. And in this case, you're doing good. You're calling out the truth, which is Trump's now covering this up. He's now complicit in covering this up. So, I don't know, put pressure on him. Maybe, like with Iran, he'll realize how unfucking popular, because it seems like Trump thinks he can just do shit like this, and everybody's just going to be like, oh, it's Trump, oh, and then just forget about it the next day. You got to make him understand that we're not going to forget about this. And this is not case closed. If you're going to try to sell us on that narrative that he killed himself and that he didn't, there was no list of people he was blackmailing, yada, yada, you're going to have to provide evidence that backs that up. Otherwise, this is going to be not good politically for the whole MAGA movement and people that want to get elected under the MAGA movement. So just keep putting pressure on them. Hopefully they'll fucking do something. But at this point, doesn't seem like they will.
I mean, it's just, it's beyond insane. You couldn't try to hurt yourself worse. You couldn't try to discredit the FBI worse than what they've done. Pam Bondi, all of it. All those videos are saying, yeah, she's seen the videos. It's all coming out. And then now it doesn't exist. I mean, what? What?
That's what I'm saying, Alex.
Damn it.
Fucking shit. Motherfucker. We're good.
11 a.m. today, I'll be covering it. And no matter where this information goes, I'll always report the truth. God bless you.
Prayers out for Alex. You're going to be all right, Alex. You're going to be all right. It's a war, man. It's an info war. Just put pressure. Like, hit up everybody you know and go, this is unacceptable. You're going to lose so much support. And, yeah. I guess you don't want J.D. Vance to win in 4 years, right? Same thing we did with the Iran bullshit. Put the pressure on him. You can't just be a team player and expect things are going to fucking get done. You got to be like, oh, no, that's unacceptable. And that's what everybody that has any influence around Trump needs to start doing. And this looks like they're doing it because I'm not seeing anybody going along with this bullshit from the MAGA side. I don't see anybody. I'm sure there are, but I'm not seeing it. People going, oh, well, I guess if Trump says it's true, then no, everybody's like, oh, yeah, whatever. You're fucking lying. So hopefully they'll have a wake up call. Or maybe, it's just they don't want to ruffle the feathers. But I think, this country has committed many sins. And what's the first step? If you want penance for your sins, you have to admit your sin. Okay? You have to be like, yes, we did this and we're sorry and we'll never do this again. And then actually never do it again and change your behavior. Same thing for our country. Our country has to start doing shit like that and acknowledging where we went wrong and trying to be better. But instead, we'll never know the details of what our country's doing. We'll just have an idea of it, a rough idea like with Epstein. And, never really have a chance to correct this problem as the people who pull the levers of power behave like complete fucking lunatics. Wonderful. All right, let's play, let's go back, throwback to one of my old edits where Alex Jones breaks up with Donald Trump. So yeah, Alex is always willing to go in on Trump. He's done it before. This is from, I think, 2017. This is when Trump did some sort of strike in Syria or something. But man, doesn't Alex look so different? It's amazing how much we changed in just 8 years. Anyway, we'll watch this. I'll be right back.
Okay. These are all
they have broken Trump. But I have Trump call me in 6 months. Wouldn't care if he called me every day. Not going to cuss. I will tell Trump that you really betrayed your family and your name and everything you stood for with this horse manure. They went in there and they raided his lawyer. It was unconstitutional. And they got that. Nothing to do with Russia. And they got his bank records. And now the globalists have got Trump by his huevos. And like a big old fat dead seal floating around in the South Pacific with its big old fat belly up in the sky. It looks like Trump's rolling over. And you know, I thought of Trump as a bigger man than me. But you know what, Trump? Alex Emmerich Jones is bigger than you. Because when the push came to shove, you put your tail between your legs, and you crapped your pants. It doesn't mean I hate your guts, but let me tell you, you ever call me again, I'm going to tell you I'm ashamed of you. And I just look at you and what you've done, you make me want to throw up. And who cares? Trump never said he didn't like women. Trump never said he didn't have 6, 7, 8 girlfriends they paid off. Hell, you don't think I don't already know all that stuff? I don't want to get killed here by some CIA head team. I'm not going to release stuff that isn't already out, but I mean, there's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. But I'll tell you, if they were going to blackmail me to start World War III about one, I'd say, hey, I sucked a golf ball through a freaking garden hose. Yeah, give me a break, you son of a bitch. I like women, not men. And if I like men, I'd be proud of it. I'd have a lot of them. But I ain't ever been in bed with no man. I've been in bed with probably 300 women. And you sons of bitches sit there and you play these games, and I'm sick of it. Man, I am pissed right now. My gut's never wrong, and I think they compromised President Trump, and as good as he was, if he keeps down this road, he's as good as dead. I'm not saying I would hurt him. I'm saying he's a dead man. He's no longer alive. So when I turn against Trump right now, it's not because they put pressure on me. It's because the pressure is doing the right thing. Donald Trump is 2 inches from being dead to me. And I read Mattis's writings, and it's 100 IQ shit. Delay that. I know we're on TV stations. It just makes me sick. I mean, I feel like I just had my best girlfriend break up with me. And the left will make jokes, but this ain't funny, man. And then they sit there and they're like, if you just turn against Trump, things will be better. But he was doing good, and that's what makes it so bad. Oh, and that's what makes it so bad. If he'd have been a piece of crap from the beginning, it would be so bad. But we made so many sacrifices, and now he's crapping all over us. It makes me sick.
I don't know. We all had faith in Trump. We thought that he would be the one. He stood up to it. He stood up to the political correctness. He stood up to all of it during the campaign. But, when you think about the military-industrial complex, you think about the power. I mean, who knows?
I've killed lots of Owen Schroyers.
Yeah, that really fits the current moment again, doesn't it? It's crazy. I remember it was like a late night emergency broadcast. I think they came in at like late at night, and Alex had clearly been drinking, and Owen had clearly been sleeping. And Owen was like barely making it through. He barely made it through that shit. And yeah, that was a fun edit. So yeah, this is nothing new, man. This is how it goes. You don't get everything you want, and you got to fight for it. Let's see, what else did we have here? Oh yeah, here's the photo. Yeah, it was just down here. So here's Virginia Jeffrey, or whatever the fuck, however you say her name, with Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell. So Yeah, I guess it was just one time that he was trafficking a woman to a very powerful member of the royal family. Just once. Just once. But thank you, Midwest.
The Midwest request super chatted $2.
This is phase
what
2.
happened to phase 2 of the Epstein binder?
This is phase 2, Midwest request. What are you talking about? You're not happy with phase 2? A random fucking video that doesn't even match the original photo of the cell door that he died in? That shows absolutely nothing? You're not satisfied with that? Midwest request. You don't trust Cash Patel? Cash Patel would never do that to you, bro. Dan Bongino? You know how cool Dan Bongino is? That dude's cool. He's cool as fuck. He's got a bald head. He's tough. He was a Secret Service guy. You think he'd lie to you, dude? Thank you for the $2 Midwest request. What else did we have here? I think I'm going to have to pull it up from my show links. I know we had more stuff. There's...
Okay, so here's the story.
I'm digging Megyn Kelly lately. Let's see what she has to say about it.
DOJ, FBI have concluded they have
watched
no...
a few Megyn Kelly videos covering Epstein. And, yeah, she does a pretty decent job.
Evidence that Epstein blackmailed powerful figures,
for an older lady,
that he kept a client list, or that he was murdered, according to a memo detailing the findings that was leaked to Axios. So clearly our friends who we love, Bongino and or Patel, leaked it to Axios, which is interesting. I mean, why Axios? That's not really a Republican-friendly site. They probably aren't steeped that deeply in all things Epstein. I don't know, but it was leaked to Axios. Maybe I'm wrong. No further charges are expected in connection with the probes into Epstein, as investigators, quote, did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. The DOJ and FBI say in the memo no further disclosure of Epstein.
You calling her bony? How dare you? How dare you, CWG? Yeah, but she's getting old, man. She is old, so I'm sure for her age, it's holding up pretty well. Okay, I'll take a little boniness.
Epstein-related material would be appropriate or warranted. So we are done getting any Epstein material. The memo says much of the material relates to child sexual abuse and details of Epstein's victims, as opposed to like other third parties who were swept up.
Can gain about 10 pounds, you know, in her situation.
Not
all women. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying.
The files related to Epstein include a large volume of images of Epstein, images and videos of victims who are either minors or appear to be, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal child sex abuse material and other pornography. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials will not permit the release of the child pornography, obviously. Consistent with our prior disclosures, this review confirmed Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims, but they're not expanding those conclusions to anything beyond Epstein. They've also released video, what they say is 10 hours of raw and also enhanced videos, meaning enhanced just so we can see it a little better and the color's better, that they say indicates no one entered the area of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held the night he died. Many are poring over this video footage right now, which goes from between 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, when he was locked in his cell, to around 6:30 a.m. the next day when he was found unresponsive. They say that it shows no one entering the area or leaving the area, but already loose online are suggesting there are cuts or jump cuts. We have not independently examined it. So
yeah, it takes 10 seconds to examine it, Megyn Kelly. Jesus Christ, just play the video and you'll see right away there's fucking jump cuts.
We're not in a position to comment on that. Here's why it's causing such a problem, including amongst many people who love Bongino and Patel.
Man, Andrew Klavan's a pretty scary looking dude, ain't he?
Maybe not so much Bondi. Because we've been told over and over and over again that they did have materials. And I'll take you through some of those. Here's Pam Bondi in February of this year talking about Epstein's client list that they now tell us does not exist. SOT 7.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that
I've
really
seen this
happen?
a few times already. We'll watch it
It's
again.
sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing.
But I guess apparently now the only thing there was to review was thousands of tapes of just Jeffrey Epstein and his victims. That's it. I'm guessing maybe Ghislaine Maxwell was in there as well. I'm guessing. I don't know. But yeah, that's what they expect us to believe.
Viewing JFK files, MLK files, that's all in the process
Yeah, don't hold your breath for either of those files.
of being reviewed.
With how the Epstein files are turning out, don't hold your breath.
Because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything there?
Well, no, their cope now is that, oh, I didn't say I had a bunch of evidence of other people involved. It was she did. She had a bunch of videos and files, and all the videos and files, they only have Jeffrey Epstein in them.
You said, oh my gosh.
Not yet.
And the victims, of course.
She explicitly said the Epstein client list was sitting on her desk. And now they explicitly say they have no evidence that he kept a client list. Okay, so that's one. Then she brought a bunch of conservative influencers to the White House, and I'm told...
I think I've already seen the cope on that. Is like, he said client list, but she didn't say client list. She said the files.
This was a Pam Bondi operation that didn't have like the blessing of the FBI or necessarily the White House staff either. She brought them to the White House, gave them binders that said it was like the Epstein files, and they all were embarrassed because it turned out that there was no more than, I think, 200.
I mean, to be honest, I don't give a fuck about a list. What I care about is who was involved, who was he blackmailing, who did he have leverage on, and how did that maybe affect things? That's what I want to know. Who was fucking kids? Who was being blackmailed because they were fucking kids? That's what I want to know.
Documents.
Who he was working for, how they used the leverage, all that. I mean, but we'll probably never ever find that out.
Of materials that were already public, which in these influencers...
Did she say the list once, CWG?
Defense, they did not know. They were trusting the Attorney General.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what their cope has been.
Of the United States, who for some reason
on Twitter
thought it would be a good idea to humiliate some of President Trump's most ardent supporters and people who helped get him elected, for which she hasn't been forgiven by a lot of these folks. I know many of them. Then she came out a little later in February and said on Hannity the following, SOT 8.
You're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. There were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is...
A truckload of evidence, and all of it is just videos of Jeffrey Epstein with his victims. That's it. And then they can't present any of this evidence to us so that we can, believe what they're trying to sell us.
Going to get me and himself really.
And of course they'll say, well, of course we can't because we have to protect the identity. Okay, yes, protect the identity of the victims. That doesn't mean we can't get anything. It's not one or the other. It's not, oh, we protect the identity of the victims, therefore you get nothing. You can do both. You can protect the identity of the victims and give us something. You can do both. Both can be done.
A detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, we're going to go.
Yeah, the Pam Bondi's just, she could tell, somebody said she's not very bright. Manu, you're correct. Either she is bright and she's just good at playing the dumb blonde. It's probably why she dyes her hair blonde, because she knows playing the dumb blonde is probably good for her personally. But behind the scenes, she might be, pretty smart. She might also be being blackmailed herself. I mean, who knows what happens to these people once they get into these positions, because they switch so fast. It's like the old story everybody tells about, oh, the president gets elected the first day and they show him a video of JFK getting his head blown off. And they're like, yeah, that's what happens. Now you better listen to what the fuck we tell you. Who knows, man? But it's really, really weird how these people flip as soon as they get in.
Go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein.
So that's her blaming the FBI. There were additional files. I didn't mean to embarrass the influencers. It's the FBI's fault, but I'm going to get them. Then you have Pam Bondi caught on tape by James O'Keefe. And as soon as it came out, like that he had this and was about to hit, he went to her for comment, obviously. She got on camera and affirmatively said it as though she meant to say it all along. It seemed to me to be a CYA. Like, I said nothing special to James O'Keefe. I'll say it right now on camera. And I happen to know that this caused a lot of consternation inside some of these national security socials where they didn't know what she was doing. Here is SOT 10.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn, and there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that.
Okay.
Need to do something like the Twitter files, get like 10 really good journalists and just give them access to all the evidence so that they can write up, you know. I would trust that way more than anything coming from the government. But of course they won't do that because then they can't control the narrative.
So that,
unless they get, you know, some journalists that are willing to just print exactly what they want them to print.
that piece of it is somewhat consistent with what they said in this statement, which is there's a lot of child sexual assault material online, but she left it open, like it hundreds of victims of Epstein's or of others that Epstein has. Like, this is the kind of thing you need to be really specific about. And we were left with yet another question mark. Now, here's Alina Habba, who's also now working at DOJ on Piers Morgan.
Colonel Sanders, too? He's implicated as well? Jesus Christ, Granola Grin. Granola Grin says, they won't release anything because the whole house of cards comes crumbling down. Government officials, CEOs, the Pope, Colonel Sanders, all implicated. Well, fuck, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Colonel Sanders is implicated in this shit, allegedly.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden.
Yes, Bumpy. Nobody trusts the government. I guess Bumpy thinks he's got a point here. He says, Pink Trip, give journalists CP to investigate instead of government agents who are expert investigators. No one trusts them. No one trusts them. Everybody smells a fucking cover up here. Everybody. So if they want to get a little bit of trust, yes, they're going to need somebody from outside the... They're either going to need to start releasing documents with the victims redacted, just releasing everything they can, just redacting the victims, or you get a journalist in there. But it sounds like you really trust the government.
And kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty.
Hidden, kept secret, haven't been held accountable. She won't yet say that they're guilty until they've had their time in court, but there's been a frustration with accountability. Okay, now we get, there's no client list, there's no evidence that he blackmailed anybody, and there's nobody else who's going to be charged and no additional information that will be released. I'm sorry, but I fully understand why people are extremely doubtful and frustrated with what's being released right now by the administration and what's being told to them.
This is extremely upsetting. I mean, I'm a big Dan Bongino fan. I judge him to be
I love him.
Yeah, Captain Obvious. Yeah, that was Virginia Guffrey that said that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew, and that Epstein's whole MO was to, get dirt on very powerful people. The problem is, the other side of that is Virginia Guffrey also said that Alan Dershowitz was involved as well. And then she came out and said, sorry, I got that wrong. So that kind of ruined a little bit of her credibility. But from what I understand, it was an honest mistake. Like, she's trying to remember everybody involved, and it was like 20 years ago. But, when you say something, as a victim, as a witness, and you say this is the way it is, and then you retract your statement and say, sorry, I was wrong, that does kind of ruin your credibility to a certain point, to a certain extent.
Man of integrity who really is committed to doing the right thing. I've met Kash Patel, but I don't know Kash Patel, but I've always been favorably impressed by him. So there's so much to talk about here. Let's just go back to what you talked about of the leak to Axios. Never mind their political leanings. It was released at the end of a holiday weekend, which is when you dump information you're hoping no one will pay attention to. That's the first thing. There is Pam.
She's not 59. She's 54, Megyn Kelly. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think she's 59. She's 54. We looked this up the other day.
Bondi and this
way
list,
ahead of you guys.
There's Kash Patel
Unless
2
I'm
years
remembering
ago
wrong.
calling for this list to be brought forward. I am willing, because of my respect for Dan and my respect for Kash Patel, I am willing to stipulate that Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide if I can include the idea that it was some kind of
54. She's
Godfather
54.
2 situation where suddenly all the cameras went off, suddenly all the guards.
She's still looking good, but she's in the final stretch. There's a lot of women that can pull off. I mean, not a lot. There are women that can pull off looking good in their 50s, but it's the final stretch.
Disappeared. Suddenly all the cellmates were removed from his cell, so he was allowed to commit suicide and maybe protect some other interest that he had
It says she's
beyond
54.
his own life.
Who are we talking?
and
You're talking about
avoid
Pam
going to
Bondi?
prison for the
Oh, you're talking about Bondi, right? Yeah, Pam Bondi, I think you might be right. But yeah, Megyn Kelly's 54. She's not 59.
Doge Hordler super
Gotcha. Thank you,
chatted
Doge.
$5. We're talking about Pam.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get things wrong more often if that's how I get super chats to get something wrong. Thank you, Doge. Yeah, I figured that out right before you sent it. You're talking about Pam Bondi. Yeah, I think Pam Bondi. I've seen some pictures of her. She doesn't look that great, but she's still, for her age, she's looking good. But you can see it, and who knows? I imagine she's had a lot of work done.
So, all right, I'll buy that he didn't commit suicide, and the evidence says that he
Maybe Megyn Kelly's had a lot of work done, but she doesn't look like she's had a lot of work done. Neither of them do, really.
Commit suicide. But when you tell me that there's no list, my questions just get broader and bigger. They don't get less. If there's no list of people who did things, are there no witnesses? Are the people, the children and the young people who were abused, have they made no accusations? Can they not be questioned? Can they not be asked, who was it who raped you? Who was it who used you again and again? Some of these women have come forward and said, I was raped again and again. Well, by whom? Did you recognize the person? Can you identify him in a
He's making
photo
good points
array?
here.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years. Is there no deal that she would expect? That she would accept to get less prison time and come on and say, yeah, let me tell you who I.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like they actually want to know, because that's what they're covering up.
Brought into this island. This is something that is so widespread in America and maybe throughout the world, this abuse of young people, this use of young people for your own personal pleasure, that I think it really has to be addressed at the highest level, and it has to be addressed in the harshest possible way. So I'm not satisfied with you saying, Pam Bondi misspoke or whatever the hell she did when she said, yes, this.
But they don't even have to show the videos. I think if you just released a bunch of stills, like, you went, okay, this is video one. You just cataloged it all, like video one, and here's a still, like 3 stills from video one, and these are the people involved. Obviously, you crop out or you blur out the victims. That's it. At least that would be something. People would still have questions and go, oh, well, I want to see the whole thing, because how do we know you didn't? People will always have questions, but at least at that point, at least they're trying,
List is on my desk. All right, so there's no list, but is there no way of attaining names and information?
Look at Midwest.
The Midwest request super chatted $2. The swamp turned into a lake with gators that glow.
Amen, dude. Yeah, what they say, you either drain the swamp or the swamp drains you, or I guess you just become one with the swamp, which is exactly what's happening here.
Information from the people who were victimized? Are there no accusations that are going to be made? Is nobody willing to make these accusations? I mean, this thing has been covered up so completely, including at ABC News, where we were talking before about George Stephanopoulos and why he was being hired because he silenced women for Bill Clinton. Then we know from Amy Robach, the tape that was released of Amy Robach, that was spiked during Hillary Clinton's run. And they say,
she said we had it all. We had it all. Clinton, she mentioned him.
That's right. So I'm sorry, this is not holding together. And I think a guy of the quality of Dan Bongino should be coming forward with it. I know, people who know him inside the administration. I know he's working like a dog. He's trying hard to rejigger the FBI from the corrupt state it fell into under Biden and under Obama as well. I think they are working hard to clean out the FBI. But something about this case, there is a stumbling block here. And by the way, I don't believe that it's Donald Trump. I actually believe that Donald Trump was not part of this situation.
Yeah, Clavin looks like a dude that just put like a real thin skin suit over some fucking bones. It's like, I don't know. He doesn't look, he looks like he's not very healthy. How old is Andrew Klavan? Maybe he's like in his 70s or something.
If Donald Trump were in the Epstein files in any meaningful way, Joe Biden would have told us.
You betcha. And also, he threw the guy out of Mar-a-Lago. He made jokes about the fact, he likes him young. Those are not the words of somebody who's participating in this abuse. This goes on in Hollywood. It goes on in churches. It went on in England when Muslims were collecting.
Well, a good way for Trump to clear his name would be to be like, hey, I demand you guys get as much information out there to clear my name. Because now, everybody that hates Trump's going to be like, of course they're hiding it. Trump's been on the fucking island. Trump's a fucking, So this is not helping you clear your name, Trump. It's actually making you look worse.
These little.
Also, to go with what Elon said recently, Elon's been talking shit about you being involved with Epstein, and then you cover this all up. It doesn't look good. I'm not saying you did have anything to do with it, Trumpy, but it don't look good.
Girls for their own personal use, and the government covered it up. This is something that is endemic right now.
They're still doing that. There's a story just today about some Taliban leader who wanted to marry a 6-year-old, and they said, "Oh, you got to wait till she's 9."
She's 9, like Muhammad. I think that this is something that is somehow.
I don't think Trump was involved with Epstein either. Everything I've seen is like, okay, he's just another guy in the fucking circle that Epstein. They party together or whatever. They were apparently friends at some point. That is a little suspicious, but. There's no record of him being on the plane or to the island or whatever. And then he did call out that he likes young girls and all that shit. But, when you add up the current events happening now with the Trump administration appearing to now continue the cover up, it doesn't make him look any more innocent. That's 100%. It makes him look more guilty. And to deny that, you're living in la la land.
So interlaced in our society that maybe there's no way that maybe it would just take a superhero to say, I don't care who I bring down. I don't care what threats I'm giving.
That's what we need, a superhero. We need somebody like John McCarter. Super John. You're going to save us, John.
And, every now and again, they arrest some poor schmuck who's got, child porn on his computer. And yes, that's evil. That's wicked. You should be arrested for it. But why is it that the guys who actually do this stuff, who are powerful people, who are people of substance and people of money, and who are using innocent girls who don't have that kind of influence and don't have that kind of money, why isn't it that they are never arrested and never named? This is a moment for Cash and Dan to really stand up. It's not enough to leak this at the end of the 4th of July weekend. You've got to come forward and tell me why you cannot get the names of people from the people who were abused. Do you recognize this guy? Do you recognize anybody in this photo array? Was this the person who raped you? I don't understand. And I don't understand why Ghislaine Maxwell was not offered some kind of deal to get the names out of her, so maybe she doesn't have to serve 20 years.
Ghislaine went to prison for helping Jeffrey Epstein and, in his sex trafficking and his behavior toward these young women. But the trial evidence against her was about procuring young women for Jeffrey. It wasn't for others. It wasn't like she was the main sort of.
Yeah, but she was there. She was on.
No, I know. I'm just saying, just people online are like, what'd she get convicted of? Well, she got convicted of funneling girls to Jeffrey. And I'll play devil's advocate for a minute, and we should explore this. Okay, let's explore the possibility that you have to put Pam Bondi's statements to the side in order to go down this lane with me, because I don't know what she's doing. I got to be honest, but I really do trust Dan. Dan is a wonderful guy, and he's a very straight shooter. He's all heart. He's totally earnest. I don't believe Dan is lying to us. I don't. I don't know Cash as well. I don't mean to indict him at all. I'm just saying I don't know him the way I know Dan, who's been coming on the show for years. We've had many long hours and hours and hours. This is like you. I know him like I know you. No one's going to convince me he would go out there and just blatantly lie. I don't believe it. So let's go down the line of he's telling the truth and Cash is. Again, we're checking Pam Bondi's weird statements for now.
Catfight.
I know somebody very close to the Epstein case. I've never said who this is, but this is a very, very well-informed person.
Megan will take her out.
And this person from the beginning has told me that Epstein was into young girls. I don't know what he looked at online. I believe he probably did look at what now they just call child sexual assault material. We used to call it child pornography. I believe he was probably into that. But this person was saying in terms of what Jeffrey wanted brought to him at his mansions and his, island. It was the
Are you calling him? You're on a first name basis with old Jeffrey here, Megan? Come on now.
barely legal type. It was like the 17-year-old girl or the 16. I'm not justifying any of this. I'm just telling you what's been told to me by a very reliable person. That's what he was into. And
you don't have to stop President Trump, John McCarter. You're good. Don't say things like that. People might take it the wrong way. Just run for president and, make sure you're specific that you're going to stop him by defeating him in 2028. But he won't. He's not going to run. You're not going to be running against Trump. You're going to be running against somebody else.
In many states, that's not unlawful.
For people that don't know, John McCarter is, he's a member of this community, and he will be running for president.
17-year-old sex partner for a grown man is actually not
I know
illegal.
It can be confusing.
Now in some
if
it
you
is,
don't know
and
who
he
John
got in trouble
McCarter
in
is,
Florida.
you better learn. Okay.
So it is a possibility that was his thing when it came to actual sexual interactions. Forget what he was looking at online. And it is a thing that, he had some of those girls who weren't committing crimes with powerful men. And that while he had a very interesting black book that had names including Donald Trump's in it, that doesn't amount to a client list. And there aren't young girls who can point the fingers. There is Virginia Giuffre, who recently died, who was the girl pictured with Prince Andrew in those infamous Daily Mail photos that we've all seen, where she was, I think, 17 and with Prince Andrew. This is why he got excommunicated from his family. She says the girls were being funneled out to third parties, to other men, and that she was one of them. But I'm sorry, Virginia Giuffre is God rest her, I'm sorry, liar, a proven liar. And not only do I firmly believe
Damn, Megan. Maybe she just got something wrong. It's hard to remember shit from like 20 years ago when you're trying to remember things, But I think she's talking about what I pointed out earlier, the Alan Dershowitz situation, because I think Megan and Alan are very close. They're friendly.
she lied about Alan Dershowitz, and she admitted she might have been confused about him. But there's a lot of stuff she said turned out to be just totally false. It's complicated because these victims, these predators choose them for a reason. They'll choose a girl like that because they know maybe she's going to have credibility problems and so on. So I'm trying not to be disrespectful to her, but there's no question that Virginia Giuffre did tell a lot of lies. And there's a lot of other people who, when Jeffrey Epstein went down, saw dollar signs in their eyeballs, because let's not forget he was very rich, and said, I know something, I want to pay out. Or I was a victim and I want to pay out. And it wasn't always true. All of these are complicating factors in like the lure around him. And it is possible this guy did not want to spend the rest of his life in prison.
We're going to look into that. I'm going to go get some creamer for my coffee. Because I can't drink coffee black. I'm a big pussy. Black coffee. I don't know how people drink black coffee, dude. I don't know how they fucking do it. But we're going to get into the evidence of did he kill himself or not. I need to find a video, because I know there are good videos that break it down. Because basically, I think his brother commissioned like an independent autopsy that basically was like, no, there's no way this was, I got to stop saying the word. YouTube gets mad. But, let me go get some creamer. I'll be right back. It'll be like 10, 20 seconds. I haven't played this one in a while. Let's play this one.
Oh my, what could it be? It looks like it's technical difficulties. Or maybe someone is at the door. Or maybe Ping just don't want to be here no more. Or maybe he just wants to pee or grab a little protein. Whatever the case may be, Ping will be right back, that's a guarantee. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. Hello, are you there? Hey, where are you? We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having
All right, let's see what MSNBC has to say about this shit.
Today in tarantulas and a bowl news, Elon Musk has announced that he will be starting a new political party to take on MAGA. It's called the America Party. And that news comes in the wake of congressional Republicans ramming through Donald Trump's mega bill, which Musk always hated. He called the bill a, quote, disgusting abomination, vowing to primary all those congressional Republicans who passed it, which is all of them. Trump responded yesterday by lashing back with a post on his platform saying Musk has, quote, gone off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. If Elon Musk keeps his word, though, and he does have the funds to write that check, Republicans moving forward will have to do so.
It is going to be a fucking disaster for the Republican Party more than the Democrats. I mean, he's not going to pull voters away from the Democrat Party. He's going to pull voters away from the Republican Party. So Trump just keeps doubling down and pissing off Elon. And it's like, dude, you clearly don't give a fuck about what happens to the Republican Party after you're gone. Or maybe he's going to run for a third term, yeah.
Without the donor support of a man who spent $295 million getting Trump and the Trump-backed Republicans elected last November, that money would be on the other side. There's not just financial support that's evaporating with this one, in my opinion, catastrophic vote. Joe Rogan, who is, again, for better or worse, one of the most influential figures in American media today, right now, at this hour. He's someone who endorsed Donald Trump on the eve of the presidential election, having a huge impact with his young audience.
Oh, of course, we got to talk about Rogan.
Of Trump's administration, of the Trump administration's immigration policies.
Oh, he's not happy.
We were told there would be well, there's two things that are insane. One is the targeting of migrant workers, not cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up in construction sites and raiding them, gardeners.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Like, really? That's a Joe Roganism.
Joining our conversation, former Democratic Senator, MSNBC political analyst Claire McCaskill, and the president of Media Matters for America, Angelo Carasone, who I like to be here for every incremental crack in that narrative dominance that Trump and MAGA have had. That feels like more than a crack. When Joe Rogan says, really? They're taking more than the cartel members and the gang members? And I know he should have known better, and I think it's possible that Joe Rogan did know better. He's a lot of things.
I agree. He should have known better. It was always going to be anybody that's not in the country legally. Simple as that. Or if you're in the country legally and you've broken the law, you also go as well.
But stupid isn't one of them. But what Donald Trump is...
In other words, enforcing the fucking law. How difficult is that?
Is pursuing.
Love you too, Adam.
Almost exclusively people
not in a
at
gay
work.
way, though, bro.
The
in
raids
a friendly
are
friendship
at
way, okay?
Home Depot parking lots. The raids are at, I mean, the gentleman who I had on, his father was at his job as a landscaper. That's why he had a weed whacker in his hand. What do you make of the fissures or splinters in the MAGA coalition today, Angelo?
I mean, I think that, it's true. I don't want to overstate one example because then I think sometimes there's a little too much Schadenfreude. But you're right. Rogan is an illustration of this much larger trend. And to take a step back and consider it, what's important about the media right now is the MAGA media is that it's not one chorus with a single conductor. It's more like a music festival with a bunch of stages. And you sort of have to have everything oriented and organized correctly so that each stage can work. If they're all pointed at each other, it's just a big cacophony of noise. It actually is a disaster. And so what Trump has to do in order to leverage that all those different parts into a narrative and then achieve narrative dominance, which leads to political power, is that you have to sort of keep them all relatively organized and on the same page. And so when you have these small fractures and cracks that then start to expand out, that's when you start to have problems. So what you see with Rogan is not a one-off. It's part of this larger trend. So, for instance, Theo Von, who's probably right at a similar level of influence as Rogan, when Trump was on his Middle East.
That's a good question. Who has more influence? I think Rogan still does.
Tour, he was talking about him a bunch. He's been throwing in his lot as well with criticisms of Trump. But instead of being the person exercising those critiques like Joe Rogan is when it comes to immigration, he's been hosting somebody like Congressman Tom Massey, who opposed Trump's legislation to come on there and rip it apart.
Yeah, they also had Bernie fucking Sanders on there, right? I mean, who cares? Like, they have people from both sides, but as soon as they have somebody from the side you don't like, you make such a big deal about it.
And to show all the ways that it is betraying the very people that got Trump elected in the first place. That's not a Democrat making those arguments or a media figure. That is a Republican member of Congress. So these trends are actually part of a larger pattern in this highly atomized environment. And there hasn't really...
The thing is, this is what Trump did in his first administration. Like, all the MAGA movement, the Steve Bannon, American First crowd, they were gone within the first year, right? He always does this. The people he uses to get elected and to, like, game plan everything, they're gone immediately, replaced by Reince Priebus and, like, RNC fucking people. This is the same. He's doing the same thing. That's why I'm not surprised at all. Again, I was one of those, I don't know, laugh at me all you want, like, lesser of two evil voters. Like, okay, at least the border's being cleaned up. We're getting control of that. Okay, well, so it's still better than Kamala, but it's still very disappointing when you listen to the rhetoric when they're running and you think, holy shit, this guy might actually fucking do some shit. He might actually fix the problem, which the biggest problem is the corruption at the heart of government. That's the biggest problem that needs to be solved. There's a lot of problems that need to be solved, but the biggest one, which a lot of problems stem from, is the corruption at the heart of our government. So it would have been nice to see him do something about that.
Been a concerted counter strategy from Trump or the larger sort of Trump administration to get this under control. And then on the side, they're treating Elon Musk like a little bit of a sideshow here. But as you noted in your intro, it's a lot of influence and power that he can do. Not that he can be the sole person driving it, but he can sort of choose which fires to start.
Almost at 100, boys. Smash the thumbs up. Let's get there. Need 17 more.
2 weeks, he decides to do nothing but make a stink about.
And don't forget to support if you guys want to support the show. Much love.
Turns into a much bigger crack, and that's really what's happening underneath the surface.
Let's see if we can get one member before the show's over. One little member.
Of this narrative.
That's the goal. I don't set goals, but today the goal is one member.
Evidence is that all of these fractures are beginning to become more into light.
Yeah, Claire, I mean, we've covered autocracy and how autocratic movements gain a foothold. And I've spent a lot of time focused on how the democratic pro-democracy movement can prevail. But the inverse is how the autocracy or autocratic side fails, and it fails by splintering. And so, again, not to overstate what's happening, but the Epstein story is a little difficult to explain, but let me try. On the right, this information ecosystem, high on its own supply.
If you don't want to give Google money, you can sign up to my Patreon, CWG. That's in the description.
Believes that Barr and then Garland and now Bondi.
For all you Google haters, I really identify with you. I do, because I hate Google too.
Are involved in some sort of cover-up that supposedly spans 3 governments. Angelo, jump in if I get any of this wrong. And the people that spread those conspiracies are now the deep state.
Yeah,
they're now the people running.
She is very hard to listen to, Manu, but we made it this far.
The Justice Department and the FBI, they're Pam Bondi, they're Kash Patel, they're Dan Bongino, and they are pissed. Let me show you some of the most influential people still waiting for this big reveal. This is some of the folks that have made life and death decisions about the kinds of people that'll staff our national security agencies. These are the right-wing influencers that Donald Trump is extremely sensitive to. And this story, as Angelo suggested, is all that folks who are still on X are seeing in their feeds, whether they follow folks like this or not, because perhaps it's all that people are talking about, but maybe it's the thing Elon Musk is helping to get in front of people. This is what they have sown, and this division may be what they reap.
Yeah, I think they are going to reap it, because here's the thing. Elon Musk is making a pretty good point. He's saying the only reason they're not releasing the files is because Donald Trump's name is in them.
They're going to run with this all day. This is what they're going to run with. And you gave them all the fucking ammo to run with this. There's still time. Hopefully you didn't burn all the fucking documents that you have.
Now, I don't know whether that's true or not. That's what Musk is saying. And, of course, that drives Donald Trump crazy. But they're not releasing them. And they said they would release them. They said they would release everything. Then there would be no redactions. Everybody would see everything, all the dirty secrets about Epstein. And the other thing, Nicole, to remember here is the other way autocracy
Inverse is
splinter
how-
is if there are power centers away from the autocracy that can really make a difference. And this is where Elon Musk's money is pretty darn important. I mean, he may have spent $250 million helping Donald Trump gain the Oval Office. He can spend billions starting a new party, and it won't impact his lifestyle. Billions and billions. And of course, the Republicans are also going to reap what they sow in terms of campaign finance laws. They have made sure that the wealthy people in this country can give unlimited money, many times without us even knowing who's giving it, to influence political elections. And finally, money. This is where it's going to get really tricky for the Joe.
We'll give up on this one. Here, I think I got one about the Epstein. So basically, Epstein's brother had an autopsy done. Let me see if this is it. Dr. Baden. Oh, I forgot to fucking unfull screen this. Jesus Christ. Hold on a second.
Fox News obtaining chilling new photos of Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell in the hours after his death. Some of these disturbing images, we want to warn you in a moment here that you're about to see.
Let me get my Windows fixed here. I'm all discombobulated.
May not be suitable for any time of television, but we just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Several the photos like this one taken at Epstein's.
Oh shit! This is gonna get me age restricted probably.
Showing the bloodied wounds around his neck. With us now, the man hired by the Epstein family to investigate his death, Dr. Michael Baden, forensic pathologist, Fox News contributor, and good morning to you. Good morning. The image that we just showed there was from 60 Minutes last night. It's the first time we've had a chance to see it. And again, we're warning our viewers if just heads up on this. Now, what new information, knowing that you're working on behalf of the brother of Jeffrey Epstein, do you provide to the story today?
Well, I think that there's a lot of information that still hasn't.
Yeah, this is definitely like, look, only 300K 5 years ago, age restricted video. Yeah, so we'll, just playing this, we'll probably get this video the same treatment. So again, if you want to support the channel, send a send a super chat, or become a member. Thank you guys.
Been revealed yet that is essential in order to arrive at a conclusion whether this is a suicide or a homicide. And I think the closing out of the case as a suicide so quickly was premature. The photograph you just showed of the ligature mark around the neck, the bloody ligature mark around the neck, doesn't match the ligature that was found.
You show a video of him fumbling with his neck. I mean, that's just weird.
Found at the scene, and that the medical examiner copied to show how he was hanged. It was too wide and too smooth. This is a rougher injury. The petechial hemorrhages in the eyes, the crush injuries in the neck, the 3 fractures in the neck are not seen.
His neck was broken in 3 places.
Suicides, that at most 10% of the time you might get 1 fracture. But this was a very hard compression of the neck. And I think the important thing is to find out what was seen when the guards first went into the cell. Was he hanging? Was he on the ground, as some people reported, when he was found?
What's the answer?
We don't know that, because apparently, first time I've ever heard this, the guards refused to talk, for which they've been charged criminally. This is a criminal investigation by the Justice Department, and therefore they're not releasing any information. Whose DNA was on the ligature that they have? Was it his? Was it somebody else's?
Is what you're seeing out of line with protocol, Dr. Baden? I mean, the removal of the body, some have questioned whether or not that was done appropriately.
The removal of the body.
Yeah, Buddhist priest. He had a lot of fucking bedding.
Body destroyed a lot of
like he was getting special treatment or something.
Forensic evidence. The EMS is not supposed to remove dead bodies from jails. They're supposed to have a whole forensic workup. What kind of forensic evidence is on the clothing?
There's way more than a minute in Sigma. The video I saw, there's like, it's not even worth watching that video. It proves nothing. We watched it earlier. We can watch it again if you guys missed it.
How long the person was dead. We can tell from the ligature mark that he had been, there was a tight ligature around his neck for many hours in the front of the neck before he was found. So he was dead for a long time. But we could be more specific about that if somebody tested out the stiffness of the body, et cetera, at the scene. But
well, what Grok told me was he was found at 6:30, and you know, according to what we know, he should have died sometime between 4:30 and 6:30, which is a pretty big window.
a lot was lost when the body was removed, and a lot certainly is lost until, for some reason, the guards tell how the body was found.
So the big question is whether or not he hanged himself or whether or not he was strangled.
Yes.
How do we determine that?
Well, we can determine that at autopsy, that in hanging, one doesn't get 3 fractures of the Adam's apple and the bone, the hyoid bone above it. That just doesn't happen. Now, some people say yes, but we've had I've been looking for at all of the suicidal hangings in New York State.
Doesn't he know you can't say that? You got to say unalivings.
Prison, jails, lockups.
YouTube won't allow it. It's like you can say the exact same thing and just change the words, and all of a sudden now it's fine. Fuck this censorship bullshit. Suck my dick, censors.
What are we looking
Fucking
at here,
losers.
Dr. Biden, while this is on the screen?
That's the ligature that was found at the scene, and the noose, which presumably is what he was found hanging with, and yet there's no transfer of any blood on that ligature from the neck. There's no, it doesn't match the ligature mark on the neck. It's too wide, it's too smooth, and it doesn't have any transfer of skin or blood.
Why has his family hired you?
It sounds like there's still a lot of fucking questions. I mean, this was from 5 years ago, so I don't know what has happened since then, but like it's hard to find. Even when you try to search all these videos on YouTube, it's fucking hard. You got to remember like the title of the video and what channel it was on.
The only reason that the brother and the estate hired me is because they want to know right away what the cause of death was. And the only reason usually that medical examiners get hired to do be present in autopsy is in the usual course. It takes weeks or months. It's now 5 months, and they haven't released the whole thing yet. Till you get an answer. So they want to have an answer for whatever reasons as soon as possible. So they have their own expert there. And the normal thing will be, yes, I agree that this is a hanging. That's the end of it. But the autopsy findings didn't support that. And that's why the medical examiner who did the autopsy did not call it a suicide when that was over. They issued a death certificate pending further study, which is okay. Right. But that was closed down within a couple of days.
So no cameras, or cameras were not working?
Then it turns out that the video cameras were corrupted. The one that looks in his cell and the one that looks in the space, the doorways.
Okay, but were there others that were functioning?
No, none functioning that encompassed.
And the guards have a criminal case.
Don't they have a camera in every cell? Right? So I guess the little bit of footage we got is the only camera that worked, and maybe all the fucking times that were cut out was just the camera malfunctioning. I don't know. We're gonna play that video again because I know some of you probably didn't see it. We'll play that video. It's such a joke to release that as like that's any sort of proof of fucking anything.
Have never talked? Is that what you're saying?
That presumably because that's what the criminal case is. The criminal case says the indictment that because they refuse to talk, they're being
last question.
Indicted.
When do we definitively find an answer?
Matt, we're talking about this because this is connected to our government and the corruption in our government. And it's also something that was a major talking point for the last 5 years, that the Trump and all these people would come in and fucking release all this. And it's the reason it matters to me is because I feel like this is some sort of intelligence operation. It's possibly Epstein's tied to some sort of, he's an intelligence asset. And yeah, we'd like to get some transparency with our government at some point. That's why. Because it's more than just, a sick guy that was doing sick things. This seems so much deeper than that, dude.
as soon as the guards will speak up, and we're told that there's a trial scheduled in March or April. But we have many guards who fall asleep and never, on duty around the state, never had a criminal case against them. Usually they get a pat on the wrist or something, a spanking on the wrist, but nobody's ever been charged criminally for falling asleep when they were on duty.
Dr.
So
Biden,
this doesn't make sense.
It sounds like you've come up with your own theory on what happened. Is that?
No, my concern is that the evidence is that it's not a hanging, that it's a homicidal strangulation. Who did it, how it happened, can't tell, but that the findings are not are more indicative of homicide than accident, than suicide.
All right, we'll go back to this. We'll watch it again because I'm sure a lot of you aren't here. Let's watch it again. This is the longest version I've seen. It's 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Very important to pay attention to the timestamps. There's a lot more than an hour cut out of here, if you ask me. 7:40 p.m. it starts. All right, we see some people walking around here. Now it jumps 4 minutes ahead. Yeah, at that point, this to me it's not reliable. Like, I get it, you don't want to release an hour long, but why not? Why not just release it on your website and go, here's the full video, uncut, unedited. But and somebody's saying you can see the editing, or the editing software or something. That's stupid. Like, who you're telling me whoever edited this didn't know how to edit it in a way that wouldn't show the editing software? What are you guys talking about? In the corner, yeah, I don't see anything about editing software. I don't know, somebody was saying that in the comments. So yeah, it jumps 4 minutes. Wonderful. Let's play some music because this shit's so boring. Okay, 7:46. Again, this is the night before. He wasn't found. He was found 12 hours later, like 6:30 a.m. So, and I mean, whose cell is this? Epstein's cell? Is this Epstein's cell? And again, we're faced with the question, which the first cell that was shown to us as being Epstein's cell that he died in is not even the same fucking cell. So yeah, just we watch this lady. There's a cut right there. Was there a cut, or does it just look like there was a cut? Okay, there's definitely a cut. I can see it visually, but you don't. Yeah, it's a force. They cut 4 seconds out. Why the fuck did you cut 4 seconds out? You literally cut them from. It literally. What was it that they needed to cut out 4 seconds of? Is that the camera malfunctioning? Was that what's happening? Is that what is happening? All right, she goes into the fucking. I'm guessing that's Epstein's cell. I don't know. 7:47. Okay, now we lose 5 hours. Now she goes in. We never see her leave. I'm guessing that's not even Epstein's cell. From what I think this is like a staffing area or something, man. Because this guy then walks in and changes clothes. So I'm thinking this must be Epstein's cell. I don't know. This is a weird setup. All right, but we just lost 5 hours there. 7 p.m. to midnight. This guy walks up. I'm guessing he's got to get buzzed in. I'm guessing this must be some sort of like quarters for the jail staff. It's the only thing that would make sense here, especially when this guy comes out with different clothes. All right, open the fucking door for him already. All right, I don't know. Takes a long time to open the door. Okay. 12:02, door wide open. And he comes. Oh yeah, forgot to close the door. Yep. And then we jump 3 minutes later, and he's in a different outfit, or it's a different person altogether. That's probably even a different person. That guy looks a lot fatter. Yeah, this guy's. Yeah, he's shorter and fatter, so that's not the same guy. Then another guy comes out, throws some shit in there. Again, I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, a lot of times cut out here. Look, this is midnight. Now we cut another 5 hours out to 5 a.m. And then from 5:30, we cut another hour to 6:35. And this is supposed to prove to us that no one came in and out of the cell? Do you think we're retarded? I guess you think we're retarded. That's the only explanation here, dude. Or you just don't give a fuck about how it looks. Because it looks stupid. It looks stupid. I don't know. What does that prove to you guys? Does that prove anything? That's not the same guy, I don't think. Look at the height. Yeah, I said same thing, convert. Took me a second, but yeah. Different guy. Different guy. Can't believe Americans voted for Trump. You get what you deserve. Well, I mean, Kamala wouldn't have been better, Adam Whiteside. I don't know what you think. It would not have been better. This is a staff. I mean, at least we have a fucking border that's like the laws being followed around it, and people aren't just able to fucking come in. And there's that. What would have Kamala done that would have been better? Please tell me. How would she have been better? And those are the two. Unfortunately, in our country, you only really have two options. It sucks, but that's the way it goes. That doesn't look at all like range housing inmates, more like a staffing area. Yeah, you're right. Like it doesn't look. It doesn't look like maybe it's a special cell for Epstein, but yeah, this, or maybe his cell is fucking down here or something, dude. Maybe this is his cell right here. You know, but whatever it is, this is not evidence. You can't give me evidence with jump cuts like that. Then that's just, this proves nothing when you have, what, over 10 hours cut out of it? I mean, there was 2 5-hour jumps, along with like some little jumps. This is not evidence of fucking anything, dude. Yeah, so maybe this is the only camera that worked. This is, you bring up a good point. This might have been the only camera that worked. You know, I was thinking this could be a staff quarters. That's what it looks like. Maybe this is a staff quarters too. And maybe his cell's somewhere fucking down here. Because that would make a little more sense. Maybe this is like the edge of his cell right here. I don't know. Because look, this is what his cell is supposed to look like. This was the, I mean, this is the crime tape. This is his cell. So maybe his cell was somewhere over here. And this is not, I mean, this is, again, this video proves fucking nothing, dude. It proves absolutely nothing. And it's so sad. Trump is within an inch of being dead to me right now. If I'd sucked a cock, I'd tell you I'd suck a cock. I'd be proud of it. I'd suck so many cocks. Anyway, yeah. Okay, yeah, Trump needs to clean this mess up because it looks bad. It looks bad for him. Let's see what else we got here. What? Let me get to my bookmarks. We'll leave this up again in case we need to go to it again. What else did we have going on? Yeah, we played that. Yeah, the floods were very close to me. Like, I was right on the outskirts of those Texas floods. And that is a crazy situation. You know what? Have you guys seen the video? Yeah, Scott Adams is apparently dying as well. Let's see. Let's go down here. Well, yeah, they also had Pam Bondi on fucking O'Keefe, like a leaked audio of her talking to somebody, talking about all the shit they had. But she says basically the same thing she says in all the other shit. Oh, we're sitting on a mountain of evidence. What do I have in here? Yes, Elon Musk. The American Party is needed to fight the Republican-Democrat uniparty. Look, the problem is, like, Elon's not wrong about anything, dude. What he's talked about, everybody agreed with in the campaign trail, but just now that he won't be a fucking ass kisser, everybody goes after him. Now he's the enemy. But it'd be nice if they could figure out a way to work it out. And he would. I wish Trump would listen to Elon about getting the budget under control. You know, balancing the budget, fixing our fucking issues, so we don't have to keep spending money with debt and just, you know, continuing the problem for generations to come. It would be nice. Maybe next year he'll do it. Let me find. Yeah, it's a while back because this happened. This happened on the 4th too, man. Oh, we'll play, dude. This is Philadelphia. Remember, I was talking. If you guys watched me the other day, I was talking about my experience in Philadelphia. How I was walking and this woman was just throwing her trash as she walked down the street. It was her mail. She checked her mail and she would open the envelope and then just throw it behind her. And there was just a trail of trash behind her. Well, this is Philadelphia now. The whole city's being taken over by trash because the city is in a dispute with the union that handles trash pickup. Wonderful job, Philadelphia. As if your beautiful city wasn't, you know, couldn't become even more of a shithole than it already is. Now we have this going on. Welcome to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and trash. Lots and lots of fucking trash.
There's the dumpster hiding. Like, what the fuck?
You know, some communities, they would go, okay, the people coming to pick up trash, they're not coming anymore. There's a strike. So what we need to do as a community is we need to go and pick up the trash and take it ourselves to the landfill. But you can't do that, right? That would be too much for you, dude. That would be too much to actually take an issue like that. That's a local problem that affects you and actually do something about it. No, just let the trash pile up until the strike ends. Yeah, there's a lot there. See, I got these bookmarks all over the place. Yeah, this is Philadelphia, the type of city where you find 40-year-old litter on the sidewalk. Holy shit, this is a really old Dorito bag. Philadelphia, the only place you can find some antique trash. Yeah, this guy does a good video about it.
It's a damn shame, man. Look at this. Look at this.
This is it. The one I played earlier, that's after, so this is before. Like, it's gotten even worse. This is all connected. It's government corruption. All connected. Unions, get rid of the fucking union, hire a private company like yesterday. You know? Get rid of the unions. I mean, if the union's not gonna fucking do their job, they're gonna strike and let this shit happen, get rid of them.
I'm telling you guys,
get rid of them.
You can barely breathe.
Oh, man. You ever been to a landfill? That's what it smells like. He smells like like Philadelphia smells like a fucking landfill. It's been on the street since the last negotiation. This is the first time even hearing about this. Oh, imagine being that guy. Oh boy, this is actually an opportunity. Look at all this trash. People ain't gonna. I'm just gonna go through. I bet you I find a bunch of gold mines in here. That guy's loving it. Yeah, just leave the trash out all day. Shit, I got me a free comb yesterday. Hey.
I can't believe this, guys.
So sad. So sad. What's happening to our beautiful cities, man? The guy, you can barely hold it together. Where did I leave off? Where's the? Here we go. The flood. This flood shit. Everybody's saying they're coming up with a lot of conspiracies about this flood because there's like cloud seeding that's been going on in this area. So people are saying, oh, they cloud seeded to make this shit happen, but. Everything I can read about it, the level of cloud seeding would never create this much. You know, say the cloud seeding happened at the same time, it would create like an extra inch or two. It's not going to create this level of insanity. And people don't understand. This has been a problem for a long time because we got this like I forget what it's called, limestone? Yeah, limestone. So water doesn't get like absorbed like it would with other types of grass and ground and rock or whatever. It just basically sits on top. So it makes everything a million times worse, this area, because of the limestone. But yeah, this is like so fucking quick, dude. Like so many people got caught off guard, and this is during the day, so this is like afterwards, because there's still even a chance the flooding because we're still getting rain, so there could be even more flooding. Hopefully it's not like anywhere close to what already happened. But yeah, look how fast this shit comes in. Just boom. That's like just like not even 10 minutes. It's like a fucking tsunami, dude. And all that water, like, it's the last place you want to be. It's all rocks and dirt and fucking everything being collected with it. Oh, Mexico, dude. It's funny. In America, the Mexicans are rioting because we're trying to deport them. And in Mexico, they're rioting because they don't want Americans. I can't tell if this is based or not. They're like, we don't want, you're destroying our communities with all of you fucking foreigners. I don't know. They're kind of racist, man, if you ask me. They're pretty racist.
Gente que viene de otros países,
extranjeros. Who the fuck are you?
Sus precios y
scared me.
desplazar a los mexicanos, a los nativos de estas tierras.
Oh, now that is... Jesus Christ. We got the Mexican KKK over here? Okay, well, I guess you understand our problems in America then, huh? But it's fine for them to do this. But if we do that, then we're all racist pieces of shit. Even though we don't even do it like this. We're just like, follow our laws, come in legally. You don't see any racist shit, You see just like, hey, we need to have we're a country of borders. You need to follow the law. And if you broke the law, then yeah, you're going to have to go back. Simple as that. You're never going to hear any outrage over this, though.
En 5 años las rentas han subido 47%. Eso es algo violento para la población local. Nosotros nos estamos debatiendo entre pagar la luz, pagar el agua o comer. Entonces, por supuesto que preferimos comer.
Aunque aún tenga el sueño de querer un departamento donde vivir sola, pues realmente va a ser difícil. Por los precios.
Yeah, well, the problem is, see, the business owners, they're going to keep wanting people with money to come. And it's unfortunate, but that's a cycle that I don't think you're going to stop that. Because you broke-ass motherfuckers don't spend money. And they want people that will come and spend money and lift up their economy. So, yeah, you're just going to have to fucking deal with it, okay? Oh, this one's another one. The initial wall of water. See, this is the daytime. Like, there are, like, that camp with all the little girls. That shit got hit in the middle of the night when they were sleeping. It's kind of terrifying, right? You go to sleep and you just wake up to a fucking flood. Yeah. The last place you want to be is in that water, man. You gotta get out of the way. It gets crazier. Just a fucking house hits the bridge. Look at all that shit it's carrying, dude. It looks like a fucking tsunami the way it's just carrying so much shit. But yeah, he's on the same bridge. It's already fucking getting up to the bridge level. It was like, I think 4 months worth of rain in 4 hours. Oop, what the fuck? Did I close it? You son of a bitch. Yeah, the tabs get small, so it's really easy to accidentally close instead of just select the tab. Get back to it. Come on. Come on, scroll. Come on, scroll. You can do it faster than that. I was way down here with this shit. Go, you'll get there. One of these days, I'll get back there. There we go. All right, that's the first one. This is the second one. Oh, shit. Third one, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, this is all within an hour. It's like one of the worst floods of all time. But this area has bad floods. 87, I think, was really bad. Nothing compared to this, dude. Look at it. It's already at the bridge level. It's like a fucking tsunami, dude. Yeah, you better drive pretty fast over that bridge. And then, oh, look. I know in one of these there's a fucking house. This one? Yeah, this one. Dude, could you imagine if you were in that house and just floating down the fucking river?
There's a cat.
It's fucking insane, dude. Hello, house. Get a, maybe there's somebody in there. Like, yell out, hey, anybody in there? Looks like they could still be surviving in there. I wonder, that house just fucking floats or what, dude? I mean, that's pretty convenient when your house floats, right? In a flood. At least you got a fucking chance. Yeah, terrible, dude. Terrible. Yes, that's one we've already seen. This one's just for fun, guys.
Two-Piece, it's a UFO for real. What is a UFO, bitch? No, we not making this shit up.
It's a UFO.
Look at her, she gonna put It's a UFO for real, y'all.
Does that look like a UFO to you?
That is crazy. Y'all, that's crazy. It's a UFO for real, y'all. I promise y'all. We got all these. There ain't no damn street light. Come on, go talking about that street light.
It's a fucking street light. I mean, it's a fucking street light, dude. Oh, God bless you, though. You know, I mean, I can see why you would think it was a UFO, but yeah, it's a fucking street light, bro. Yeah, Hassan might be getting sued by that legal fucking, what's that dude's name? You know, let's pull that up. Hassan, you know, said some things. Let's see what he says here.
Is waving a gun around on Twitch considered a crime or breaking terms of service? This is not a real gun.
By the way, a lot of people are saying it is a real gun. There's a big, you know, dispute over whether that's a real gun or not. And by the way, if it's a fake gun, he's covered up all the things that you're supposed to have on a fake gun to make it look real, which I think is also illegal. And yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a fake gun. You know, when I was, in my early 20s, I worked at a convenience store. And a dude came in, I think it was a pellet gun or something. I don't know what it was, but he held up the store and stole for like a 18-pack of beer. He pulled a gun on me. I didn't know if it was real or fake. He still got the same charges as if it was a real fucking gun. The police told me later it was fake. But in the moment, I couldn't fucking tell.
Pussy. And not only that, but also, I like that this is the new meta. People are like, dude, I can't believe you were waving a gun around. Good luck, dude.
Yeah, I've been shot by a pellet before. It hurts.
Guy comes in here, says, I'm going to assassinate you. I say, good luck, and do this. And now the soy right is fucking crying about it. Okay. Good luck.
The soy right? Did they just steal the rights like terms and then reuse them? Did you know that's a right-wing term to call somebody soy?
What am I supposed to do if I'm the endless recipient of death threats?
Not crash out and pull out a gun and start threatening random people on stream, maybe? Maybe just accept that comes with the territory and just ignore it. And if it gets real serious, then, you know, report it to whoever it needs to report it to. Get serious about your security, your self-defense. Maybe have weapons at your home, but don't show them off like a fucking retard. I don't know. Simple things.
I can't even have a little bit of fun with it?
No. You can't threaten people with a gun. That's not...
Every single person
even if it's fun, you can't do it.
When Moist Critical did the exact same thing.
Moist Critical did it in a smart way. He did it to where he was like, here, check out my guns. Look, I'm very efficient with my gun. Like, he didn't crash out and like do it in a threatening manner the way you did. It's not the same fucking thing.
Is now going, this guy needs to be banned immediately. Post haste, please.
Yeah, you should have been banned years ago.
You should keep it in frame. I do.
Poor guy.
Here you go.
I'm sure if it was Tim Pool that pulled out a gun and started threatening a random fucking viewer, you wouldn't be talking shit about him. I'm sure, Hassan. Oh, what's everybody's doing? Why is everybody so upset? Oh my god, all I did was pull out a gun and crash out and, you know, basically threaten one of my viewers. What's wrong with that? Yeah, remember I was telling you guys, be careful with the fireworks? It looks like somebody put their mortar in backwards, or maybe the fucking cannon thing that you put the mortar in to shoot it up, maybe they knocked it over. But this is never good. At least when it happened to me, nobody got hurt. You know, the fireworks blew up all around us, but like we all got far enough away. I mean, we were standing right there when it happened, but like I guess it wasn't as powerful as some of these, you know, mortars. Like this one, I'm pretty sure, yeah, mass casualty event, they says. A mass casualty event has been declared after a fireworks show went horribly wrong that left multiple people seriously injured. Oops. Let me back this up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. I'm zoomed too far in. As you can see, yeah. That wasn't supposed to happen. That was supposed to go up. And it looks like it maybe set off a bunch of other fireworks too, or... Damn. Yeah, you know. You gotta be real careful with fireworks, man. One little mistake can cause some real fucking problems. You see, oh yeah, this is Hassan taking shots at the lawyer who was calling him out. We'll play that in a second, because he's saying he's gonna sue him. There's a lot of people that I think are working up lawsuits on Hassan right now, because Hassan thinks he can just say whatever the fuck he wants with like no repercussions.
So funny about people being like, dog, have you seen the legal mindset video about you? Dude, if I were to cover every Rumble lawyer, fake lawyer, that it actually is like a fucking right-wing freak that spends most of their time talking about like trans people.
This is the typical bullshit that I see in my comment section a lot from the Hassan orbiters. They can't address anything in detail. It's all just ad hominem attacks. It's like, oh, you're so fucking ignorant. Oh, you're out of touch. Oh, really? You think that you're so stupid? It's like, please explain to me where I'm wrong and why I'm wrong. But you can't do that because you guys don't have any fucking like anything to your side. Like, it's just me versus you. You're the enemy, and you're wrong because you have a different opinion. But you can't ever debate the details as to why the other person's wrong. And that's like, it's very obvious at a certain point, you guys have no fucking argument at all. Just nothing except, oh, the other side's stupid. Oh. Anyway, let's see. I'll play this while I try to find that fucking legal mind video.
I would lose my mind. I would have no time to cover anything else. I get it. A lot of you are drama perverts, okay? And you nut when you think about the prospect of drama. but I'm not going to pay any mind or any attention to some fucking psychotic MAGA lawyer, not a real lawyer, but a passport bro.
Hassan has slandered me, committed some defamation in response to my reaction to what was going on with Twitch and the situation with Twitch. So today I'm going to respond to that publicly, clear up some of that misinformation, and also talk about some hot water that Hassan may be in legally in the state of California. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is the legal mindset we teach you to be your own judge. So typically my policy overall with defamation.
But, you know, people can't control the fact that they're huge dorks, you know? It's okay. You can be a dork. I'm not going to hate on you. As long as he's not, like, R-wording any kids in Thailand, you know? I mean, they're trying to call him a rapist and all this shit. Like, this is what they do to all their enemies. Like, they just call you a pedophile. They call you a rapist. They just make up whatever shit to try to discredit you. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. He can be a dork. I'm still going to defend him if people are fucking lying. And he should sue. This dork should sue the fuck out of Hassan.
With people that engage in defamation is just to ignore it, is to pass it by, is to really pay it no mind, particularly if they're smaller channels and smaller people, really to ignore that at large. However, when a channel of 1.7 million people spreads false information about yourself, clearly not having watched a single one of my videos or really knowing much about me, it seems, other than what the most deranged antis might try to cook up, there is some need to respond.
Yeah, I guess because I was talking about Thailand, like houses in Thailand started showing up in my Twitter feed. And it's one of those places where you can go live like a king for very little money. So I understand that. I understand why people would want to do that. I'm tempted to do that. Hell, I mean, as somebody who can work anywhere, yeah, I'd like to go live somewhere that I can fucking have my money go the furthest. But damn, just, you know, there's just a stigma around Thailand that's hard to get over, though.
To that, and also there is a need to bring up some very real
legal mindset as a public figure. Can you just say a public figure is a rapist and a fucking pedophile and all that shit? He can still, here's what you don't understand. He can still fucking sue. Doesn't matter if he loses or, you know, he doesn't have a case. He can still sue, right? I mean, people always act like, oh, there's a case. Just like with the copyright shit. Like, even though your shit, you think it's fair use, and it is fair use, people could still sue you over it. And then you just hope you get a good fucking judge, a good lawyer.
Legal trouble that Mr. Piker may be in regarding California, especially as some individuals look to come against him. So first of all, we're going to start by reviewing the defamation itself, and this does come in the form of a video which I have right here for you guys. And this is Hassan kind of responding to his chat and talking about me and why he's not going to review my videos. And I just want to start out by saying I love the fact that you're going to see immediately how he jumps to ad hominem, because ad hominem or
That's all they do, dude.
attacks,
That's all they know how to do.
when used as a debate strategy or when used to
It's all the shit in my fucking comment section too. It's just like, oh, Pink Trip's so fucking ignorant. Oh, I can't believe Pink Trip is. It's like, dude, you have no argument. Tell me why I'm wrong. Please tell me why I'm wrong and what I'm wrong about. But they can't do that.
rebuke someone actually represent a concession. That actually means you are incapable of making a legal argument or an objective argument or an informed argument or in any sort of educational argument. You're simply trying to discredit someone personally to get around the fact you lack the capacity to actually argue. And so I actually don't take offense to that. I'm very used to it, having been on the internet for years now. So we'll get into this video and the thoughts by Mr. Piker.
Dude, there's something so funny about people being like, dog, have you seen the legal mindset video about you? Dude, if I were to cover every Rumble lawyer, fake lawyer that it actually is.
So let's stop right there. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's all virtue signaling to his audience. Oh, Rumble, that tells you right wing. He's a right wing lunatic.
Rumble lawyer is very interesting, and I think he may mention Rumble again. While I do have, I guess, still a Rumble account, I haven't uploaded it to years. I don't stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube, primarily as a major platform.
Spoiler alert. I know, this is probably unpopular to some people, but Rumble sucks. They need to get their shit together.
I've tried the others. I don't like.
I say that as somebody who wants Rumble to do well. Get your fucking shit together.
Like them. Rumble, just as a comment, initially offered a very good package contractually to stream on their platform, good advertising packages. That fell off way back towards the COVID days. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Now, fake lawyer is interesting, and I want to throw out here that that's possibly the most defamatory thing. Now, I want to give Mr. Piker some credit here because perhaps he knows nothing about me or knows nothing about the law. Well, clearly he knows nothing about the law or what words mean. A lawyer is anybody with a law degree, whether or not they're licensed and practice law. So anybody who's gone to law school is indeed a lawyer. Now, attorney is someone above lawyer. You could say that word is perhaps not interchangeable, but similarly related insofar as they are not only a lawyer, not only do they have a law degree, but an attorney has to be licensed to practice in their state. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Florida. So I am both a lawyer and an attorney above that. So thinking about that logically as a little bit of education, all attorneys are lawyers, but not all lawyers are attorneys.
Okay, thank
so
you.
There you go, Mr. Piker. That's the language. So that statement is...
Please, just sue him. Sue him. He called you a fake lawyer. You're a real lawyer. Sue him.
...is indeed false, right? That I am a quote-unquote fake lawyer because I indeed possess a law degree from the University of Florida. So that statement in the future would be defamatory. And with Mr. Piker, we do have to remember, and with myself and other figures, is that we are all public figures. So we follow the New York Times versus Sullivan standard. We have a higher standard for defamation than the normal private individual. So now that that's been clarified publicly for Mr. Piker and that he will
Dodge Holder, it's weird that we only have a few big platforms, not a lot of choices. It's as if people forgot how to code. You know, Doge, it seems to be the algorithms. Like, all these other sites, they don't have an ability to create an algorithm that does the simple thing that YouTube used to do really well, which is keep serving you content you're fucking interested in. Rumble is just a first page site. If you don't exist on their front page, it's never gonna you're never gonna be found. And then as a user, you're like, you can't find anything good. It's just whatever's on the front page. Whoever's got to deal with fucking Rumble, who they're paying. They dropped the ball so hard on that. There's so many of them. Odyssey as well. Like I had high hopes for Odyssey. The library shit. It's just like it looks like a lot of this was just a grift to just take advantage with how mad people are with YouTube, and they didn't deliver a fucking product that could compete with YouTube. Which again, you do need an algorithm. You need a very simple algorithm that can fucking track what people like and deliver content that's performing well to people. And then the creators will want to go there because that shit can get discovered, and users will be happy because they're discovering new shit that they like. And if you can't do that, you're never going to fucking compete with YouTube, because YouTube still does that. Even though it does it terribly now, it still does it. And if only another site would come along that could do it at least a little bit decently, then maybe YouTube would feel some pressure to make their algorithm better at serving people the content they want rather than dictating to the people what they're going to watch.
Know that information is false and defamatory. To continue to do so would perhaps incur liability on the part of Mr. Piker. But let's continue to see what he has to say about me. This is fun.
Like a fucking right-wing freak that spends most of their time talking about like trans people.
So how is he wrong? Oh, he's a right-wing freak. Okay. How is he wrong? Oh, he's a Rumble fake lawyer. Okay. Here's a third chance. How is he wrong? Oh, he's a passport bro.
So that's very interesting. So I will say this. Most of my time talking about trans people, the issues I have been covering lately have been
Yeah, I think so. Adam Whiteside, he says, laugh out loud, multi-billion-dollar company feel pressure. I think if YouTube saw a company come up that was actually developing an algorithm and that they could see that people were leaving and going to there and it was real competition, because they never saw Rumble or any of them as real competition, because they can go there and use the site and see that it's dog shit and go, this is not competition. But if somebody created a real site that really competed, that was starting to fucking pull away people from YouTube, trust me, they would fucking care. They'd probably buy them out. But at least it would put some pressure on them to at least, that's the problem. There's no competition. So there's no reason for them to improve their algorithms. There's no reason for them to not fuck over the user base, the creator base, because there's no one going to hold them. There's no competition. Competition is what makes these companies actually behave better to the consumer. And no competition, no reason to. Just keep collecting the money and sleepwalking.
Klein lawsuit have been Johnny Somali, have been Vitali. Now, unless you are counting something with Somali or Vitali as a trans issue, which I would struggle to understand how that would fit in, then yeah, that's not at all what my content has been about for the past years. So very interesting thing. Also, I keep politics out of my streams, and it's particularly over the last year, 6 months, definitely last 6 months and a year, I have endeavored to keep my streams as objective and educational and make it a environment where everybody is welcome.
It doesn't matter. Who did you vote for? That's all that matters.
Hassan Piker are welcome in my chat, so long as they are civil, so long as they keep the conversation from violating the terms of service of the platform, because I indeed do care about abiding by the terms of service of the platform. That is, you are welcome in my chat, whether you're right, left, center, whether you're apolitical, whether you don't care about politics. It doesn't matter at all to me. I care about the law and educating people on the law. That's the core of my channel. So let's continue.
I would lose my mind. I would have no time to cover anything else. I get it. A lot of you are drama perverts, okay? And you nut when you think about the prospect of drama. But I'm not.
I will say, I actually
It is
do
kinda
not
fun.
like drama. And in fact, on my channel, I
Oh,
try
I
to
don't believe
avoid
you.
drama. In fact,
I don't believe you.
Even in carrying out my behaviors, I try to make sure that I am focusing more on the legal aspects of things rather than the dramatic
Hey, we got over
elements,
100
the
likes. Thanks,
personal
boys.
problems, the stuff that people did. I try to focus on the legal elements of a story. Now, sometimes to get to the legal elements, you have to give background, you have to give context, because things don't make sense in context, without context. However, yes, I would agree with Hassan that I don't like drama, but what Hassan tends to define as drama, and what it appears he's defining as drama, is anything that disagrees with the things he's doing. So by somebody saying what you are doing is objectively risking lawsuits, it's objectively wrong, or for example, saying that, hey, your orbiters, Denims and Frogan, they're gonna lose under copyright infringement, here's the explanation of the law. Apparently,
They're so dumb. Like, people don't do any research on fair use laws. They just go, oh, if I just add commentary, then that's fair use. It's like, no, if you're competing with the original, that's not fair use. That's like the biggest fucking thing. Right? If you're competing with the original at all, it doesn't matter anything else about your content. And you're going to go on and say, watch me, don't watch him. Actually, this is the stream where all y'all watch, so we don't have to watch him. Like, at that point, you have no fucking argument for fair use. It's so dumb. Some of these people, I'm telling you, it's 85 IQs. That cannot be any higher. It's got to be under 90.
Drama to objectively educate people on the law. That's a new definition of drama to me. And I don't know what you guys think, Chad.
Going to pay any mind or any attention to some
Green Juice Incorporated.
What's up, Green Juice?
Super chatted $10.
No message? Okay. Thank you, brother. I hope you're doing good. I was waiting for the message. Thank you, Green Juice.
fucking
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the
psychotic
support.
MAGA lawyer, not a real lawyer, but a passport bro.
So, okay, that's really interesting. Once again, he repeats the defamation, saying I'm not a real lawyer, which is indeed wrong. And it's interesting, and MAGA, of course, don't bring up politics. That I've never talked about that at all recently.
Okay, we get it. You don't talk about politics, but we all know you're a MAGA, bro. That's all that matters to them. You once supported MAGA publicly. That's all that matters. Now you're just a right-wing extremist for the rest of your life to these crazy people.
At all. But beyond that,
that is base, Green Juice. Thank you.
Because the definition of a passport bro is typically someone that would visit a location for a short period purely for sexual purposes. And for anybody who knows anything about me, I'm a long-term resident of several countries in Asia. I've been a resident of the Republic of South Korea.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Korea, the Kingdom of Thailand, the Philippines, and...
Oh, these are all bad countries to be circulating around, bro. Is not a good look. It doesn't matter if you've been there for a long time. I mean, maybe you've been there for a long time taking advantage. I guess, okay, technically you're not a passport bro because you live there. So you're like a live there bro. But it's not a good look, man. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure you're an outstanding fine gentleman who's definitely not shopping for, for pussy with the poor people, you're not doing that. But yeah, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
And Japan. These are all wonderful, amazing countries. And
Japan, okay. Maybe Japan wouldn't be so bad. But the Thailand and Philippines, yeah. As an American man, you got to know if you move to Thailand, even if you're going because it's so fucking cheap and it's just a lovely place to live, people are going to have questions.
I do help people obtain legal visas and legal residence long-term in these countries because they appreciate the culture, the lifestyle, the quality of life, the peace, the safety, the tranquility. These are amazing things about living in Asia.
I don't know, man. Disavow.
And another amazing thing is that unlike America, and this may be surprising to Hassan, it is not as easy to get away with being an illegal migrant to these countries. So if you try to illegally migrate to Japan or Korea, very good luck to you, sir, because likely you will end up in the cell next to Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail, if you try that in Korea. It's not gonna go well for you. So I would insist that perhaps the only person that perhaps between the two of us would be a passport bro is the individual who visited Berlin solely for the purpose of going to a brothel. But
whoa, shit. Now he's firing back. Hassan has some sketchy shit. He did, he went to Germany so he could visit I think he visited a brothel in Germany. That is a passport, bro. I mean, what else would you call that? And then he also said, he said it was a sketch, it was a joke, but something like if they're old enough to bleed, they're old enough, something like that. Basically, like, some pedophile sounding shit. I forget the exact quote. Maybe we'll look it up
here nor
Maybe we'll look it
Let's
up.
Continue.
Who offers fucking courses on becoming a passport bro, who primarily fucking streams on Rumble.
Neither one of those things are true. I do not have a single course on becoming a passport bro, and I do not primarily stream on Rumble. I only stream.
Yeah, but do you have a course that helps people move and get citizenship or get green cards to Thailand, whatever it's called over there? So technically, I don't know, man. If you moved from Thailand and you didn't live in Thailand, your argument would be so much better.
I'm on YouTube. So, yeah, there we
I get it. American women are terrible.
Why do you guys come in here
I get
and
it,
ask
guys.
for this stuff? It's never going to happen.
And that's the great point. I'm going to leave it right there. It's never going to happen because Hassan lacks the capacity to actually address real issues and to
He's low IQ. He's low IQ, basically. 85 IQ.
actually
No
respond
doubt.
to legal or objective arguments because he's incapable of doing that. Not only because he's not a lawyer, even a non-lawyer can make an argument, can make a policy position, can say this should be this way for XYZ, but because he needs to discredit others by ad hominem in order to...
Do I have a vet in my family or is it all immigrants? No, I have no immigrants in my family. My family's all been in Texas for a long fucking time. And yeah, I have a lot of vets in my family.
try to win an intellectual argument. And frankly, that's at the lowest level of
I
argument.
mean, pretty much every single uncle of mine is a vet, including my dad. So
Argumentation. But
I
one
come from a bit of an army family, or not army, military family.
thing he really can't argue
But
with
not me.
is
Fuck that. I'm not going to go serve. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been primed to go to Iraq. I would have definitely been Iraq and Afghanistan if I would have served.
the law. And in fact, there's a California law, which was pointed out by a California lawyer friend of mine, where that shows that he may have violated this statute, 653.2, involving electronic cyber harassment. So this is the statute which reads, every person who with the intent to place another in reasonable fear of his safety. So if you have the intention to scare somebody else, to place them in fear of their safety, or the safety of that person's family by means of an electronic communication device, a computer, or a cell phone, and without the consent of the other person, and for the purpose of imminently causing that other person unwanted physical contact, injury, or harassment by a third party, electronically distributes, publishes, emails, hyperlinks, or makes available for downloading personal identifying information, including but limited to a digital image of that other person or an electronic message of a harassing nature about that
It sounds like he broke the fucking law.
person, which would be likely to incite or produce that unlawful action. So he put out that photo and he engaged in those actions with the intent to instill fear in that other individual. So that individual could look into contacting California law enforcement, could look into that, pertaining
Hint.
to Hassan, and take action thereby. Very interesting.
Did Hassan apologize for putting the wrong person on there and then like fucking pulling out a gun and threatening them in front of their entire fucking audience? In front of his entire fucking audience? Did he even apologize for that? Or he just moves on? Just collateral damage. Just collateral Hassan damage. Just me being cool as fuck, you know? Sometimes there's a little collateral damage.
And something for him to worry about, but of course, only if he addresses the real issues.
Yeah, so legal, you know, mindset. He does have good legal takes. I remember he came out of the whole, remember the George Floyd? Was it George Floyd? Or no, it was the Rittenhouse, and then all kinds of other cases. Yeah, what's the guy's name who, you know, got in trouble? Fuck. Can't remember his name. The guy from Minnesota. I should remember his name. You know, the guy that got busted with coke and shit. He came out of that group, like Viva Frey and all them. Like, he would have these little live streams with like 10 different lawyers all breaking down the case. And that's where I remember this guy from originally. But yeah, interesting. Okay, Hassan. Yeah, let's see if he gets sued. That'd be nice. All right, I'm gonna take another pee and we'll play this one. I've been wanting to play this one for a while. This is a high level work of art right here.
Okay, everybody, now you see what this is? This is a bottle of cinnamon. Cinnamon is some sort of a powder that you put into cakes and it makes them taste nice, that's fine. This is a tablespoonful of cinnamon. Now, somebody's tried to tell me that putting a full spoonful, and this is not a full spoonful, it's a tablespoonful of cinnamon in your mouth at once is impossible. And I've seen all these younger people than me who's shoving this stuff in their mouth and then they're all over the place because they can't take it. Well, believe me, I've faced worse than tablespoonfuls of cinnamon during my life. People have thrown things at me all my life, and all my life I've headbutted them away or taken the challenge. I'm going to take the challenge now. This is one of the fullest tablespoonfuls of cinnamon I've seen in the various challenges that I've seen recorded. Mine's going to be the best of all, and I bet you I won't even balk, okay? I won't even balk because I've been trained to take pain, okay? I've taken pain all my life. Here we go. I'm told there should be an explosive reaction. There won't be from me. I'm going to count you down. 3, 2, 1. Water!
Bro, how are you this dumb that you don't realize how bad it's gonna be? Bro, have you ever like put, you know, I used to make cinnamon toast bread with like, you put, you know, sugar and cinnamon on toast. And if you ever made the mistake of not putting sugar in there with the cinnamon, it's fucking disastrous. Just a little bit of cinnamon by itself is like, oh, it's so crazy how cinnamon is so terrible by itself, but you add a little bit of sugar and it's just, oh, so good. Poor guy.
Oh, God, breathe.
That didn't work out, did it? This guy might die. He might literally die right now. You're too old to be doing this, dude. For internet clout.
Oh, it's on the back of my throat. It's like it's...
That's what she said.
It's like drinking cement, which then mixes with the saliva in your mouth. It hardens up, forming a barrier. across my throat. I'm having great difficulty in breathing. Perhaps it wasn't such a good idea to do this.
Perhaps. Fucking perhaps, dude. Holy shit. Where did this one go? Here we go. This is, again, another fixer, guys. I know somebody in the chat can fix this chick, dude.
I'm free bleeding in the grass right now, and it's occurred to me.
She's free bleeding in the grass. I'm not going to explain what that is. I'll let you guys figure it out. But, yeah, she's, well, I'll explain it a little bit. She's bleeding from her vajayjay into the ground below her. Okay, yeah, that's what's going on.
A large collective of women are bleeding right now, and whatever this cycle is, whatever we're moving through our blood together.
Oh, yeah.
Feels.
I'm so inspired.
Bleeds, and I sense more women are synced up now more than ever, so drop a rose if you're bleeding too. And
Guys, are you free bleeding into the ground? Are you reconnecting with Mother Earth? You don't know how beautiful it is to bleed into the Mother Earth, to return your blood to the soil for which it came. She sounds like a crazy person.
a reminder that
But you can fix her, dude. She's not bad looking.
your blood is not an inconvenience. It's actually one of the most magical gifts in the entire world. Whatever you experience before your bleed, in luteal, when you feel like you're moving through different emotions, different challenges,
Bitch, you crazy.
through your blood, you get to die every month and be reborn.
No, you're just bleeding
And the
from your
earth
ass.
keeps it
You know, I didn't want to say the P word.
and alchemizes it. So the sooner that you can give your blood back to the earth, the more alive that you am free bleeding.
Hold on. We can watch.
And it's occurred to me that a large collective of
Well, I find the next video. We'll watch this
whatever
again.
this cycle is, whatever we're moving through our blood together.
Oh,
feels
free bleeding.
like one of the most potent. Bleeds, and I
Ugh.
sense more women are synced up now more than ever, so drop a
I'm
rose.
feeding the earth with my pussy blood.
And
Ugh, yes.
that your blood is not an inconvenience. It's actually one of the most magical gifts.
Somehow they're still allowing this fucking kid to continue hosting a podcast. YouTube needs to step in here. We got to make it clear. We can't have children hosting podcasts, okay?
If I was dumb enough to send my kid in, it's no different than a baby commercial for diapers.
Can you answer my question? Do you think that you have the right to consent to 65-year-old men looking at your son while he's naked?
I wouldn't allow it.
Do you think
That's
that
my
you have the
responsibility as a
right?
father.
Do you think that you have the right to allow it? Do you think if you did allow it, that you would be violent?
This kid fails to understand the most basic concept of like anybody under the 18 cannot consent. They don't have the right to consent, right?
Violating the.
And he uses this weird logic to now make it like this dude is a fucking pedophile. You got to listen to this again because it's so weird. It's hard to make sense. But he just runs with it like he just caught this dude like admitting to some sort of weird act or something when he's just like, no, my 16-year-old daughter cannot consent to something.
If I was dumb enough to send my kid in, it's no different than a baby commercial for diapers.
Can you answer my question? Do you think that you have the right to consent to 65-year-old men looking at your son while he's naked?
Do you have the right to consent? This guy is so dumb. He doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
I wouldn't allow it.
Do you think
That's
that
my
you have the
responsibility as a
right?
father.
Do you think that you have the right to allow it? Do you think if you did allow it, that you would be violating the consent of your child?
They have no choice in the matter whatsoever. It's my decision as the parent. And I wouldn't put my kid in that situation. That's why I think pageants are weird in the first place. I would never.
This dumb kid acts like he mutes him because he's like, oh, I got to make it look like I just owned him here. And it's like, you're just a retard. You're just letting everybody know you're a retard. You don't understand a basic fucking concept. Or maybe it's just because it was a right-wing caller. You're just trying to somehow make it into like, you know, this is your way of owning them or something. I don't know, but it's fucking weird. And no, this is not Paul's. He literally sits here like this for like 10 seconds. And then he gets his audience to call CPS on this dude. Fucking crazy.
Amen. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I think that you don't deserve to have any custodial rights over your child.
I don't think you deserve to have a podcast because you're fucking dumb. You're too dumb to have a pod. I don't think you deserve to have conversations. You're too dumb to have conversations, bro.
So, for those watching, their handle is goatman91096. It's gonna be their handle. If there happens to be anybody in here that's good at has like facial recognition software.
The conversation is a typical fucking, people out there try to say it's okay. Like if a child wants to consent, the child should be able to consent with an adult. You know what I'm saying? And the argument is like, no, the child cannot consent. The child has is not capable of consenting to something like that. So it's just a weird way of twisting this fucking argument to try to make some random dude look like a pedophile or something. I hope we get sued for this.
It's fine.
There needs to be some fucking people getting sued. Like people are getting away with shit that's like, yeah.
Nothing I said was wrong.
Okay,
I just said that the kid doesn't get to make the decision.
What's your name?
I would never put them in that situation.
Okay, what's your name?
And why are you trying to dox people, dude? That's weird.
Because I want to find who you are so I could call CPS and have them take your child away from you.
Oh, I'm sure you would
kid.
like to try to do that.
Yes, I would. So
is this kid right wing? He's a right wing kid. I don't know anything about him. He just pops up in my algorithm every now and then, and I just assume he's must be a woke fucking retard. But if he's right wing, I mean, it doesn't change anything. He's still a retard. He's just a right wing retard.
So
they would never even do it. That's the best part.
Okay.
Because I would take the part, and I have a witness sitting here who's heard me say I would never put my child in that situation.
Okay. So what's your name?
So don't worry, move the goalpost too, by the way.
So you said that you think that parents have every right to exploit and traffic their children. So
he said his kid doesn't have the right to consent to something like that. So then he jumps to the conclusion that, oh, so you're consenting for him? Like what? It's so crazy.
No, that's not what I said.
So I'm not going to debate it with you. That is what you said. So I just putting this out there for anybody. Feel free to take his profile picture. Maybe you could go on tiktok.com/his handle. You could save his profile picture, run it through some reverse image search. Maybe it will link back to a Facebook or something. You could find his name.
Doge Hordler super chatted $5.
It's possible.
That kid never experienced a punch in the face.
That's a good pause, right? Yeah, it'd be hard for me to believe that this guy would go through life behaving this way and never get into a fight. I'm sure somebody's punched him in the face. Maybe it just wasn't a good enough punch in the face. I don't know, man. But yeah, this kid is fucking one of the most annoying. I just see little clips. Like this is probably the second clip I've seen. I played one other one where he had his anxiety pen and he's yelling at people because they're calling it a vape, and he's like, it's not a vape, it's my anxiety pen, and he loses his fucking mind. He has a temper tantrum like a 6-year-old would have.
And if you do find said information, that's public, by the way.
You're more than welcome to.
Feel free to take that information and report it to CPS.
See, this is why kids shouldn't have fucking podcasts. This guy doesn't even have the wherewithal to really think through what's going on. And then he jumps to a wild conclusion like he needs to try to get this dude's kids taken away. Does this guy even believe in what he's saying, or does he know that this is just the angle to get more views? Oh, I gotta farm some drama from this somehow.
Feel free to take that information and report it to the law authorities in this area.
Thank you for the super chat, George, in case I forgot to say it. Thank you.
It to,
yeah, the audio's low. That's just the way it is. It's all turned up all the way on my end.
Is local CPS, etc., Child Protective Care.
Now, that's just fucked up, dude. That's just fucked up. Like, if you care about the kid, you want to get the kid taken away from his parents? When the dude, all the dude tried to do was explain what the fuck consent is and how it works for somebody under the age of 18, that they can't consent to sexual activities with adults. I don't know. This pisses me off because it's not like they just had that disagreement. It's like he's trying to get that dude's kids taken away. And he's probably got a bunch of simps in his audience who are going to listen to him and fucking try to get his kids taken away. And that is, I don't know, man. That's, to me, you should be banned from the internet for some shit like that. Oh, this one is great. This one's great. A lot of people are scared of possums. But I don't know if you realize it, possums are actually pretty fucking dope. They are creepy as fuck, though, when you run into them at night and they start hissing at you like they're a vampire. But yeah, they don't carry rabies, and they're pretty chill.
It's what I come out and see. His name is Ralph.
What the fuck are you doing? Put him down.
He's very nice.
Get fuck.
I don't know who this dude is, but I fucking love this dude. His name's Ralph.
What are you doing? Put him down.
He's very nice.
It's what I come out
His name's
and
Ralph.
see.
His name is Ralph.
What the fuck are you doing? Put him down.
He's very nice.
Get
Aw.
He is free to leave.
Yeah, if he didn't like it, he'd just leave. But no, he's chilling. Also, the other possibility is that the possum's terrified and he's playing possum, which is what possums do. They'll just sit still and not move and hope that you think they're dead. And then they run away. It works really well. It does.
Nick.
It's little fucked up face. They're so fucking ugly. But, you know, there's no reason to be scared of them.
Look at the little grin.
Nick, that is not a grin.
Look at the little
him
grinners.
I swear to God, he might have rabies. Please
I mean, that's pretty ballsy. He's touching his fucking teeth.
stop.
Hey, fun fact. Possums don't get rabies.
I don't care. Get him off your lap.
Goddamn, woman. Let the man have some fun. If he wants to chill back, have a beer, and pet his fucking possum, what's the problem? Why women always gotta be bossy about everything? Can't even fucking have a possum and have a good little time petting my possum.
I fucking mean it. Nick, put him down.
But look at his cute little face.
Nick, put him down.
Suze.
Get your finger out of his mouth.
The dog's like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? What are you doing? I remember one time I had a chow. Well, it wasn't mine. It was my uncle's, but I was taking care of him for a while. And at the middle of the night, that chow just started barking like fucking crazy, dude. So I came out into the backyard, and there was a little showdown. He was just sitting there face to face. Well, not face to face, like maybe a foot away from this possum. And he was just, oh, oh, oh. And the possum was going. And yeah. I think finally somebody, I think it was my dad, and just like hit the possum over the head. Just because it was so fucking annoying. And then actually, I don't remember what happened. No, the dog, we finally got the dog's attention to go away. And then I think my dad hit the possum to like scare him off to go away. But the possum wouldn't move. But we got the dog away, and then I think I came back 10 minutes later and the possum was gone. But yeah, they will just not move.
And put him down.
Oh, dude, that guy's my hero, man. That guy is my freaking hero, dude. Where did I lose this one? Did I move the whole bookmarks over here? Yeah, I did. Or no, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Let's see if we got anything else here that I missed. Yeah, this is, oh shit. Yeah, there's been a lot of people talking shit about Texas and white people. It's pretty disgusting, but what can you expect, dude? Like when California has their wildfires and their fucking problems, I don't shit on the people of California. I shit on their government. But what they do is they come on and they shit on us. They shit on us as like white people and this is what you get, blah, 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 blah. Let me see. I think I had a few of those.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it.
I know I'm probably going to get canceled for this, but Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls Christian
First of all, it's not a whites only. It just happens to be mostly whites.
camp.
Well-to-do whites.
They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black
Would that make
person.
it better?
It is a all white-only, conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white, you ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going, period. And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now, but you best believe, especially in today's political climate, if this were a group of Hispanic girls, especially with them being in East Texas, it should be most likely Hispanic. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage
Yeah, it absolutely fucking would. It absolutely fucking would.
that they're getting. No one would give a fuck. And all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be
You know, some people are just so determined to see fucking racial issues in everything, where you can't even go like, oh, it's sad, a bunch of little girls died. What the fuck? You got to bring race into this?
Saying things like they need to be deported, they shouldn't have been here in the first place, and yada, yada, yada. So before y'all come at me, before y'all start leaving hate comments on my page
Well,
about,
look at the shit
these
you're
are just
saying. Well, you think you're not going to get hate comments when you're saying shit like that, dumbass?
kids and they don't know no better. Da, 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 da. The parents of these children who are choosing, and it is a choice in 2025, it is definitely a freaking choice to go into East goddamn Texas and to make a all-white enclave.
It's not East Texas. It's Central Texas.
Exclusionary,
East
just for
Central,
white people,
maybe.
with all the black people in East Texas, with all the Hispanic people in East Texas. Somehow, some way, you have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave in East Texas for your white children. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Once again, this is no shade to the girls. I hope they all get found. But once again, y'all have to understand the climate that we're living in. They want you to have sympathy for these people. They want you to get out of your bed and to come out of your home and to go find these people and to donate your money to go find these people. Meanwhile, they are deporting your family members. Meanwhile, they're setting up concentration camps and prisons for your family members.
Concentration camps, yeah. Enforcing our border law. That's concentration camps. This is one, I saw a little bit about this, but yeah, they've been really mad at Destiny because Destiny said, I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN promo code Destiny to get around the Texas porn ban. So yeah, I think
As most of you
Tim
are
covered
aware,
this.
tragic
gotta say.
flooding took place in Texas. Some young girls lost their lives. It's particularly brutal. And in this, everyone's favorite liberal, Destiny, says on X,
Not mine.
I heard God killed those kids because they were using @NordVPN promo code Destiny to get around the Texas porn ban. And this has ignited quite a bit of controversy. Now, Destiny's making the
It's not a Texas porn ban. It's a fucking the ban on like it's basically forcing people to do the verification where you got to submit your ID or like your credit card. You have to prove that you're 18. You don't just click on a thing that says I'm 18. See, for me, the problem is like I think everybody under 18 should be banned from all the internet except for like maybe some approved safe for kids sites. We need to be more like China when it comes to our children and how social media is used.
argument, oh, all of the Trump
Sorry, but
people
it's true.
who claimed that jokes are back are now mad about a joke? Oh, boy. Well, in response to this, many people are saying they're canceling NordVPN because of their partners.
Is Tim ever going to get rid of the beanie? Is he ever going to get the courage to just one day just be like, you know what? That's enough of this beanie. I'm ready to grow up. I'm ready to face my demons and my insecurities. And today, I'm going beanieless. Is it ever going to happen?
With
Oh, I forgot. That's his costume, so nobody can recognize him in the fucking streets.
Destiny. The only thing is, NordVPN does not have a partnership with Destiny. And
Anyway, I like the beanie. I think it looks good. It's a good look.
they say they're investigating improper use of trademark. Well, it's not just improper use of trademark. It's overt defamation causing legitimate damages to a business. But let's talk about that joke. Well, Destiny is particularly crude.
So is NordVPN going to sue Destiny?
Crass, he's a
That's
nasty
hilarious.
person.
Doge.
Doge Hordler super chatted $5. As much as I do not
Exactly.
like China, that is one thing they got right.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you can hate everything about China, but you have to admit they're doing a better job. They're doing better by the kids than we are.
I think he really does. You know, he exemplifies evil in the political realm very, very well. He gloats over the death of individuals. He views himself largely as an elitist who's smarter and better than you.
Wasn't he like talk shit about the people that died in Pennsylvania, the Corey or whatever? I forget the name, but you know, remember when they tried to kill Trump and you know, a couple, I think it was one guy died, a couple other got shot, and he was just like, I don't care if they deserve it because of January 6th. Yeah, Destiny, I will not call Destiny low IQ. Destiny is not low IQ like Hassan. And it's possible Hassan's not low IQ either. Hassan just might be pretending to be low IQ as part of his grift. Destiny, I wouldn't say he's evil. Yeah, I'd say it's closer to that than just being dumb. Most of these people, it is closer to that. They're not as dumb as they portray.
He has no sympathy, no understanding, and no tolerance. It's a pure ego thing. In order to have this lack of sympathy, to gloat over the deaths of little girls, and Corey Comparator, because he's smarter than they are, right? That's his view.
Yeah, that's his name, Comparator.
You have to have a complete lack of understanding of social structures and society, which is funny, probably why he's a liberal. If you actually look into how systems and civilization works and how jobs and specializations work, you understand a society needs to have tolerance for a certain degree of ignorance within various populations because it's an inevitability. For instance, I'm not a rocket scientist, so I know very little about ballistics and space travel. Very little. However, in the event there was a disaster and I was, say, working in a warehouse and rocket fuel exploded due to an accident, you don't mock someone because they made a mistake and didn't understand rocket fuel. You say, it's unfortunate. And so in the political realm, I recognize many liberals,
Yeah, Random Sharp, it's happening to all of them because they have no fucking argument anymore. Like, Destiny can really get lost in the weeds of just, like, spitting back every media article he's ever fucking read and every little left-wing source that backs up his vision. But at the end of the day, it always comes down to, he's not one of us, guys. You know that, right? He's not one of us.
Leftists and many conservatives don't know about the policies they're voting on and can cause them harm. I don't gloat over them dying because of it, though I have gloated over their own suffering. See, that's where I draw the line. When the left votes for policies like getting rid of the police and it results in crime, and they go, oh no, there's crime, these people aren't being killed or dying. But to be fair, to a certain extent, I actually agree with his joke. I know a lot of people are going to say, Tim, how dare you, children die? No, I don't agree with that. But the point he's making about social media and how these influencers are sponsored by companies, I think he's making a great point.
Yeah, but aren't you sponsored? I'm not sponsored by anybody, FYI. I'm sponsored by my audience. Tim, you're sponsored by people, aren't you?
I just think that he's kind of a bad person when he does it.
Yeah.
That is, I can certainly gloat over the suffering to an extent. And I suppose the only real argument being made by conservatives and liberals in this context is where you're willing to draw the line. And that is, I absolutely will say, hey, man, if the people of New York vote for these policies and then live within them and it causes them pain and suffering, I'm not going to cry about it. They voted for it. The difference is this was a flash flood.
Yeah, but the narrative going around, by the people who hate us is that Trump's Doge cuts caused the weather service to actually fire a bunch of people, so they were understaffed, and that's why the updates were late. Actually, it turns out they had more people on staff when this happened than normal. So, but yeah, they're trying to make this into a Trump disaster, a Republicans disaster. It's all the Republicans' fault. Typical bullshit. The fact is, this was a sad, very freak natural disaster. And yeah, you can probably look at ways to improve the warning system. Somebody brought up before that, like, they send the warnings too much. Like, I just ignore the warnings. I get anytime it's a little bit of rain, flash flood warning, flash flood, and it's like, I ignore it. Also because I'm not in a floodplain, I'm pretty high up, so it's like, yes, it can be improved, but this is a true natural disaster. This is not like California when their shit burnt down, their fire hydrants weren't working, and they willfully just like failed to maintain their forests and shit. This is not like that. This is an area. It's like, in Kansas, you have tornadoes. And in this area, you have crazy flash floods. And they happen. And sometimes, no matter how much you plan for it, natural disasters are going to fucking happen. And people are going to, unfortunately, perish.
Not something you can vote for. But liberals are convinced government policy can change the weather. It can't. Even climate change policies would not change the weather in any meaningful way, at least not for 100 years based on their own arguments. So this is literally just mocking children who died. And then in the case of Corey Cop.
Yeah, you make a good point, problematic post. It is. Everybody wants to be famous, man. Everybody worships the god of fame. I've never really cared to be famous. It would be nice to be well known for the work you do, and that's what everybody should go for, is to like make something of use to the world and hope that you become well known because you've been so beneficial to the world and make a good living, and that's a good spot to be. These people, they just want so much fame, like to the point where it corrupts them, and it's not a pretty thing when you become as famous as like a Rogan or whatever. It's a tough life. But for me, I don't care about it anymore. What I care about is building a nice little audience that enjoys what I do, and hopefully I can make enough money to put some food on the table. And yeah, and if it gets bigger, great. But I think the key to this is like, people, there's so many people relying on these algorithms too. Yeah, like, yeah, okay, you're doing real well right now, but all of your success is based off that algorithm sharing your shit. Do you have a loyal audience that's going to be there when the algorithm decides it's done sharing your stuff, which happens to every fucking channel? I think people have to understand they got to stop chasing the views and the algorithm bullshit and start trying to build an actual fucking community of like real people who support and follow what they do.
This is not a guy who asked to be shot by a deranged leftist who wanted to kill the president. Now, they're going to make the argument that the guy who shot at Trump wasn't a leftist or whatever, but spare me your stupidity. Come on. It's like a Trump supporter shot at Trump. I'm not interested. Nobody asked to be killed or to vote for a policy that would get them killed. That's ridiculous. But here's the aftermath, my friends. Now, the story here, it's actually rather sad. Sisters Blair Brook Harbor found dead with their hands locked together after Kerr County flooding. This is horrible.
It's so sad, dude.
And jokes were...
And what's sad is like, these are the type of like young women who are going to grow up to be good women. They're not going to grow up to be like these fucking, there might be some that fall out of the life, but like it's just sad. It's sad to see like these Christian, good families being raised right. And I mean, it's not like it wouldn't be good if it happened to any child, but I don't know. It's just hard when you see pictures like this. You're like, oh man, these kids were so fucking sweet, dude. It's just sad. And then you see there's this video of them being evacuated. Some of them that survived, they're like singing church hymns as they try to like get out of the fucking the floodwaters. It's sad, man.
We're always allowed, yeah, but you can cross the line. That was always allowed too, and people can get mad at you for it. The problem with cancel culture, let's start here. First, let's talk about the news. So Destiny tweets this, NordVPN. It turns out he doesn't actually have a partnership with NordVPN, which is leading to a scenario where, in fact, he's going to get sued. Like, dude, NordVPN is, the reason they need to sue him, and I'm not saying I'm advocating for them to do it. I'm saying business-wise, they need to sue Destiny.
Totally advocating
because they
for
have to, it's corrective marketing in a sense. If they don't assert the position, they are unaffiliated with him, the damages will be a bit more extensive. So as we can see here, you've got one guy said, hey, NordVPN, do you guys actually pay this Epstein to mock dead children for political points seriously? To which they responded, the tweet falsely...
Adam, you're doing the exact thing I've been talking about. What am I better than, Adam? What did I do wrong? Tell me where I'm wrong and tell me what I'm wrong about and why I'm wrong. Okay? Can you do that?
Just a sponsorship with us. No such relationship exists, and we are reviewing this misuse of our trademark. Another person said, is NordVPN a sponsor of Destiny? If they are, this might make you want to reconsider. Same response. They tweeted, old proverb, there's no time like the present to set up two-factor authentication, to which someone responded, nothing sells like porn and dead kids. This is who you want to be, F you. To once again, they said, this falsely suggests, they keep saying it. One person said, I will no longer use NordVPN. And I actually thought much of the same thing. That when Destiny made this post, I actually assumed NordVPN was a sponsor of his because NordVPN sponsors tons of various personalities. I knew they untagged themselves from this. It won't matter. He tagged you in it. It's an @NordVPN. I did not immediately assume this was a joke because of who Destiny is. He is a troll, sure, but he has gloated over the death of individuals before. He is he posts online, he makes videos, he has sponsors. I thought I thought the point was to insult conservatives while promoting a brand that had sponsored his show. He posted this in response to Kylie Jane Kremer, who said, I've been trying to wrap my head around how the flooding in Texas became so devastating so quickly, wanted to evacuate. Then I just saw this. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes around 4 a.m.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That doesn't even seem natural. See, this is the problem.
A lot of
This
people
statement
are
that was made by Kylie Jane Kremer
got some big
saying,
conspiracies.
How could this possibly happen? As a Trump-supporting conservative, is just flat out wrong. They issue flash flood warnings for a reason. Flash flood is not flood. Flash flood is when the river rises very, very quickly in a very, very short amount of time. It can and does happen for a variety of reasons. We get these warnings in Chicago all the time growing up. Heavy rainfall comes in, and there are certain areas prone to flooding, and the flooding is rapid. And so what happens then is Destiny also being relatively ignorant of these details, and the liberals who often use natural phenomena to claim the world is ending or climate change is happening.
It's a little frustrating how Tim keeps leaving the camera like that. He keeps leaving the frame, the shot. Like, dude, keep your head in the fucking shot, bro. Do it.
Happening. Because she made the point, she doesn't understand how a flash flood can happen, which they do. That's why we have the phrase flash flood. Destiny then makes the joke about it, and many others are highlighting her tweets, suggesting, haha, leopards ate my face, which is a reference to you voted for this, you get what you vote for.
Yeah, we voted. You voted for flash floods. No, see, in California, you voted for environmentalism. You voted for policies that said, hey, don't clean up the old growth. Don't clean up all the brush. Just leave it there because we can't fuck with the old growth because the spotted, horny fucking toad lives in the brush. And then you also had fire hydrants that weren't working. You didn't have water. You had a fucking reservoir that wasn't... There was, legitimate issues. The one legitimate question here is that reporters are asking that I think might be legitimate is like, where were the... Because some people were saying like there was no... You know how your phone goes off with the fucking emergency alert? There was no emergency alert to notify them that a fucking river was heading towards their home. And they woke up, and they're already like, starting to get fucking flooded their home. So... That is a question. Where was the emergency alert for that? But maybe it had just happened so fucking fast. They didn't have time to. One guy said that he had to get out of his house. He climbed on his little electrical post and he like stood on it so he would stay above the water. And that's when he got the alert, when he was already fucking clinging for survival.
They're saying, we warned you about climate change. And it's just people who don't understand using taking her at her word, saying, we agree with you. This is not normal. So now we're going to mock you. Okay. Anyway, Destiny says he was just making a joke. He says, don't forget, these are the same people want to tell you jokes are back when they're laughing it up over families being destroyed via deportation, LGBT being kicked out of the military, and friends being murdered in Ukraine by a genocidal maniac, all because they're too spineless to break with the inhuman machine that is MAGA. Don't ever let these vermin bully you into civility while they hide behind...
You can make anything into a political issue. Fucking flash flood. The most ridiculous amount of fucking water in one area that you could ever imagine. Oh, it's all Trump's fault, guys. And then some people are like, yeah, it is y'all's fault because y'all control the weather. Y'all are both as fucking crazy. The one side that's trying to make it political, and the one side that's trying to say, oh, it's because they control the weather. Like, you're both fucking crazy. This shit happens. It's happened for a long time now. This just happens to be the worst case of it happening in history that we know of.
Their veneer of convenient cruelties. Let's try this. These little girls who died didn't break the law. It was a tragedy that killed them. That's why you're a scumbag, Destiny.
Ooh, big words. Big words by Timmy.
Recognize, I'll gloat over the suffering of liberals periodically when they vote for policies that I think are bad. I never celebrate death. Even John McCain himself. I did not gloat over his death. And I am no fan of John McCain and his warmongering.
Okay. Yeah, Tim can take something that should be 3 or 4 minutes and turn it into, how long is this? 15 minutes? I think we get the gist. I got one more, and I was watching this earlier today, and I was like, damn, I really wish we got this guy. Because this is the guy we fucking need right here. Javier Milei.
Javier Milei is
This is the guy who had the balls to actually go and do what Trump needs to fucking do.
turning out to be Argentina's economic savior. The eccentric president who made headlines for his unorthodox style of announcing public spending cuts has followed through on his promise to repair the Argentinian economy in just over a year since his election. His savage public sector cuts have underpinned the economic recovery.
Bueno, lo primero que tenemos que entender es que el Estado no es la solución.
The first thing we have to understand is that the state is not the solution. Fucking amen. Amen. That's what we need to understand.
El Estado es el problema. Ustedes, si se fijan acá, tienen la gran raviolada que es el Estado.
This is so boss. I'm going to full screen it so you can see the translations. Here we go.
El gran curro.
Oh no, it cuts off. No. Which is the right one? Play only? Nope. I guess we're going to have to go with this one. I'm going to have to set one up.
Y la fuente de la decadencia argentina, que es el Estado. Esta es la foto del Estado que tenemos hoy. Si nos movemos hacia aquella pizarra, que es Ministerio de Turismo y Deporte, afuera.
Dude, this part almost makes me come in my pants. This is exactly what we fucking need. We need somebody like this. This is how we fix the fucking problem. And we have to ignore all the fucking fearmongers like, but if we get rid of this part of government, then this thing's gonna happen. No, it's all gotta fucking go. All right, we gotta rely on the private sector to do most of it and the federal government to do very little. It's one thing it needs to do more of is antitrust. But God, this makes me come in my pants.
Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera. Aunque te resistas.
Oh, dude, I love this guy. I fucking love this guy. Yeah, Congress decides spending. I know it's a big problem. So the president needs to do whatever he has to do. Because it doesn't fucking... I don't know. I know it's complicated, but the president has a lot of control over our budget. And can't the president, like, just start slashing fucking agencies? I mean, I'm sure there's a way if he was to, like, declare some sort of emergency or something that he could be like, look, we're about to go bankrupt. And I have a, if he's voted, he's like, I have a mandate, so I'm going to declare an emergency or fucking whatever it takes to fucking just get it smaller, dude.
Vamos a seguir por acá.
It would be not. I know it's going to be ugly because people are going to, it probably would lead to a civil war of some sort because the fucking administrative state's not going to sit back and just let it be cut. And they're going to be like, he's a dictator. Look, it's like, no, but all this has to be done. It has to be done.
Ministerio de Ciencia y Tecnología e Innovación.
Yeah, but then the problem with Elon and Dulge, Adam Whiteside, is that like none of that's going to like stick because Congress didn't put it in the bill. The thing is, Congress and Senate are the ones that are ripping us off. They are the ones destroying this country. So at a certain point, you go, okay, well, we can't do nothing because Senate and Congress are destroying the country by continuing to create bills that just fucking enrich themselves and act like the federal government's just got endless money. What do you do at a certain point? At a certain point, you got to get fucking hardcore. You got to get hardcore about it.
Bueno salió el sector público. Afuera. Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social. Afuera. Ministerio de Educación. Adoctrinamiento. Afuera.
And the results speak for themselves. Milei has done what other world leaders have tried and failed to do. Under his leadership, inflation has dropped from a whopping 12.8% in 2023 to just 1.5% in 2024. Milei's deep spending cuts all but halted the economy in 2024 to get inflation under control, but this year has been a different story. Economic growth has punctuated Milei's leadership this year, with Argentina experiencing 3 consecutive quarters of economic growth.
It didn't take long. I think they had one slow year, and then now it's all fucking coming back.
The economic resurgence is also being felt in the streets, with Argentinians holidaying more, enjoying leisure activities, and spending their money on discretionary items. Like cars, which has seen an 84% increase in purchases in the first few months of 2025.
That tells you, I mean, if people are buying more cars, the economy's doing good.
Real estate sales have also soared by 66% this year.
This guy's a goofball. He's a goofball, but goddamn, this is what we need. We need to do this exact same fucking thing.
And Milei's scrapping of rent control has led to a 40% drop in rental prices as
Oh, wow. Dropping rent control led to rent prices going lower? What?
Well as a 300% increase in rental property supply in
Oh, so it's a supply-demand thing. So if you just increase the supply, the cost goes down. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting how that works. The problem here is you can never get anything approved unless it's fucking super-ass fancy expensive apartments. And every fucking county and city is just like, nope, we're not going to let affordable housing be built in our neighborhood. And then you get no affordable housing and you have a supply fucking issue.
Buenos Aires. Online commentators have slammed the
That's their version of Trump, but even better.
mainstream media for labeling
Because he's actually doing what we were hoping Trump would do, which is a fucking slash the federal government and get rid of all the bloat.
Malay as a right-wing nut job, despite saving the country. This commentator said, "Never forget, the media and professional class labelled him a dangerous far-right lunatic because he wanted to cut spending." And this commentator agreed, saying South America is on the rise. This is so good. El Salvador and Argentina showing what can happen with honor and reason and understanding.
Yeah, Malay was like working closely with Trump and Elon. But again, he's just another one that's like, oh, yeah, see you later. See you later. Trump wishes, when, you know, Trump goes to bed at night, he wishes he was as cool as this fucking guy. He just wishes, ooh, because you ain't Trump. You ain't as cool as this fucking guy.
Economics. And whilst Argentina is experiencing renewed optimism driven by Malay's economic growth, the rest of the world, particularly the US, is watching on with envy. This
Yeah, I am.
commentator said, so jealous of Argentina that they can actually cut spending and the US can't. There was a time not so long ago when the US and Argentina were on the same path with savage public sector cuts. Malay, Trump and Elon Musk were in a bromance, exchanging notes on slashing waste, cutting inflation and growing the economy.
And then just, we forget about all that. We'll create $5 trillion. We'll get rid of the debt ceiling. We won't, I mean, the most important thing, like cutting taxes is very important, right? You need to cut fucking taxes because it's a fucking brick holding the fucking economy down. You know, it's a heavy brick that's keeping people from being able to rise up. But you gotta like drastically, even more important is you gotta cut spending third year. Maybe we'll get something.
But whilst Argentina has forged ahead with this strategy,
Of course, you won't get anything because they'll try to do it through Senate and Congress and nothing will get done. Instead of just declaring martial law and just shutting it all down.
some say the US has stalled. This commentator is getting restless, saying GOP better get to the spending cuts.
It's like, yeah, it's not a war, but it is a threat to the existence of our country and the ability of our country to be long-term prosperous. So maybe it deserves a sort of emergency declaration for it to be fixed. Almost like wait a minute, things have gone seriously wrong. Hit the red emergency button. We got to fucking really do some drastic shit that's outside of the norm to fix this.
In a hurry, Elon is not playing around. Not to mention, it is the second biggest issue for Trump voters behind mass deportations. And it's true, Elon Musk is not backing down from his dream of small government.
You get taxed on what you own, you get taxed on what you buy, and you get taxed on what you own. Taxes, taxes, taxes. You know, and then what?
To call tariffs just a fucking tax is just you have no fucking understanding of the purpose of a tariff and what it's fucking done, why it's put in place. Yeah, it functions like a tax in that it makes things cost more, but it makes local fucking produce, local production competitive with slave labor overseas. That's the point. So that we can have local fucking things, local products being made that can compete. So there isn't just, everybody's just taxed, Adam. It's everybody pays a little bit more, but then also the economy has a massive benefit because your local business has a chance.
What does it get spent on? A bunch of.
I'm all for tariffs, Adam. If I was doing tariffs, I would have done them 100 times, probably more than Trump. I would probably be a little more specific about where the tariffs go. I wouldn't do blanket tariffs, but I would definitely be using the fuck out of tariffs.
Stuff you get spent on you don't even agree with. So
go read America Only, Adam. Go read what they say. I'm pretty much America Only at this point, which is like anybody that wants access to our markets, which people will want access to our markets, then yeah, you got to pay a tariff. You know, unless you're producing your shit locally, you got to pay a tariff, and you'll see a boom in our fucking economy if you do the tariffs right, so that things are competitive and they're actually applied properly.
You know that's why we need to reduce the.
Adam, I'm done reading your comments. You're just annoying me, bro.
As a government, and just spend less money and let the people keep
Adam Whiteside, more like Adam Darkside, am I right?
a lot more of their hard-earned money. Yeah, so.
But the tech entrepreneur and richest man in the world has ended his friendship with Donald Trump over the One Big Beautiful bill, which he claims will undo all of the positive work that Doge undertook under his leadership.
I was like
I think it's you, Problematic Post.
disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
It seems like Trump and them are like buying into MMT like 100%, because if you followed MMT, it's like, no, just keep creating money. Creating money will get you out of the problem. It'll make the economy boom, blah, 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 blah. It seems like that's what they're doing. They're just following MMT. Just keep spending more. We'll spend our way out of this. Dude, it's the problem is we've spent too much already. And we don't have enough. If you really want to fix inflation, we got to get production up. And yeah, maybe the government can spend a ton of money that's going to get production up. But no, that ton of money is just going to go to a bunch of shit that's going to be... It's not going to go to things that are going to help Americans. It never does. It never fucking does. I mean, the border shit, yeah, that's good, right? The increase on the border, the funding to lock down and protect the border, that's good. But there's so much shit in there, it's like, we don't need to be spending this money.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it could be both.
You think Elon would have had a problem if they would have done all these bills individually? I think it would have been so much better if they would have just a bunch of bills, like each individual item, a single bill per item.
My personal opinion.
But White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller hit back at Musk, saying the public will not listen to him.
Bill, the largest tax cut and reform in American history, the largest spending cut in American history, the largest welfare reform in American history, the largest reduction in federal spending ever achieved in a single bill, and then it also includes...
Adam, you're doing the same thing again. You have, like, no fucking argument except to just attack, Adam.
The most robust, comprehensive border security and immigration enforcement package we've ever seen. One that will allow us to deport millions upon millions of invaders. To oppose this bill is to support the invasion. To oppose this bill is to support the continued giveaways and freebies to cheaters and scam artists. To oppose this bill is to support a 68% tax hike on the American public. And it's also to oppose this bill is to support a deprivation of all of the tax benefits that President Trump is fighting to deliver to the middle class, like no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. The Senate passed this bill just today.
That's all great, but where was it? How come there's no cutting of spending? That's all of that is great. We all love that, but it's like, oh, if you want these things, you got to accept all the terrible shit. Like, no, we can like this shit and also say this shit sucks. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. This one went long because I had a lot of shit saved up since I didn't stream this weekend, and then the fucking Epstein shit popped in. And it's like, okay, I guess I got to cover this Epstein stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Should I just go all full detective on this Epstein stuff? It's so frustrating researching this shit, you know? Because it's like, who knows what's true, man? That's the hard part about anything, is who knows what the fuck's true anymore. Anyway, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. Probably be back on tomorrow. I should be back on tomorrow. And we'll see you then, 9 o'clock. Come by and hang out tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Don't forget, go check out the Discord if you want to be a part of the community and get notifications for when I'm going live, which I think I forgot to notify Discord on this one. Sorry, guys. But normally I notify Discord before I'm live, so you guys know. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Y'all have a wonderful night. I'm going to play the outro this time. It's been a while. Enjoy the outro. Take care.
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like, and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified.